Squad! Happy Friday night, 'cause it's Friday night, and the feeling's right. Da-da-da-da. Hello, hello everybody. Welcome in. I'm repping my girl Nyx today. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. Repping my girl Nyx today. In more comfy attire today because I came from dance, not from work. I'm also just gonna I watched a bit of the VOD, and I just want to make some adjustments. I want to make the camera a little bit bigger. I don't think I can. Can I stretch it? Oh, I can a bit. Just so we can see more of the book. There we go. Hello, everybody. Hello, Soul. Hello, Chalky. Hello, Quinn. Stupid work interfering, but I'm claiming my streak once again. Yes. Happy streak. Thank you for popping in. And if you'd like, the VODs are on the channel still, so you can always check them out later. Welcome in Kira the mod. Good old Naughty Boy Kira. Welcome in Lee, Mr. Naughty Boy Lee. Just gave Marina a ping. Just nice. Thanks, Chalky. Yeah, because she said she was wanting to come, so thank you for that. I've got the rack assistants up here, chilling with Cassandra. I've also got the other novels near me because I figure in between chapters I like to take I don't know, just 2 minutes to just not talk about the book and get some water and whatever. And I figure we can like show the new novels and stuff because, as we've said, Lee is the biggest Dragon Age fan ever, and here it says, "To Lee, my biggest fan." So this one's for you, Lee. I'm only 2 chapters in because I haven't been reading it very much. Only this much in. But yes. Hello, Enceladus. Hello, Miss Donnie. Thank you for the bits, Miss Donnie. Marina's here. Welcome, Marina. Welcome to the channel. Yes, I'm glad you are so excited for it. And the VOD is up for the first part if you did want to see kind of what we covered in the first part. I will go over it a bit now, just like the chapters we did. Oh my gosh, who's contributing? Chalky's contributing to the Rack Overlords. Thank you, Chalky. So who was that? Miss Donnie. Miss Donnie, yes, had the bits. Thank you. With that little candle. I love that emote so much. It just makes me laugh. Bandit is here as well, and Womble. Hello, everyone. Show of hands, everyone. Show of hands. Who is split screening tonight with Buddy Games? Curse Buddy Games for stealing my spot tonight. Let's give them a shout out. I know that they are pretty much everyone in my channel already follows them, but let's go ahead and give Buddy Games a shout out. Just as we're saying hi to them. Can either of the mods do shout outs, or do I have to? Yes, hello, Raxcode. Lee, I'm going to go find that paragraph again just for you, because you need to see the naughty paragraph. Yes, the mods are the Rack Wardens. Oh, thank you, Chalky. Yes, let the racks descend upon buddy games and bring popcorn to watch them play. They're playing Metaphor. Yeah. So are we ready? Are we ready? I'm ready. I am ready. I am ready. I forgot we can do that too. Yeah. Chalky stole your thunder there. Okay, I'm gonna ruin the magic again because I've gotta tilt the camera down. You guys don't see, but I literally have the my camera on a stack of CDs, a tarot card, and a jewelry box, just so it's high enough to see the book. But there it is, and we'll just do a quick little flip so that you guys can see it the right way. Vertical flip, there it is. Dee 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 dee. Kira on a 15 stream streak, and he also found the new emote. Well done, Kira. I figured you would like that one. Lamode and Mo are here as well. Welcome in. So Kira had a streak. I hope you like the new emote, the judging cat. I just think it's really funny. Thank you, Mr. 87_. Someone cares. Someone cares about my stream enough to come 15 times in a row. Well done. It's new. Yeah, I just got it approved today. I wanted to put it on my channel. Like I put it for approval like not quite a week ago, maybe like 5 days ago, and only just got approved. Okay, I'm gonna adjust my seating. Wait, what did I do phrasing? Okay, what is this? Oh, I guess it's just there in the paper. So, volume 1. I'm gonna quickly show the table of contents again. We last time looked at the legend, the map of Thedas, welcome to Thedas, races, and nations. So, I mean, a pretty decent chunk. It's also just, I was like going over a lot of like the world in general. So today we're going to get into magic, religion, and the Fade. Oh, I forgot about the religion chapter, and maybe the Blight if we have time. And then the bestiary and glossary, I mean, those we don't have to read like super big. And then we also have our symbols. I'm just going to quickly go over the symbols again. There's my rack pointer. Say hello, rack pointer. Whee! We've got the Chantry, the Dalish Elves, the Dwarves of Orzammar, the Kunari, the Orlais, Tevinter Imperium, Ferelden, Antiva, Rivain, Kirkwall, Navarra, the Anderfels, Circle of Magi, the Seekers, the Templars, the Wardens, and the Inquisition. Rack pointer, you can hang out there. You can stay on the screen, you can hang out there. So that's kind of our symbols for the book again, and then a quick refresher on the map. That's kind of what it looks like. Of course, we can't see all the top and the bottom. Top here, the Kunari live up here. Kunari and Tevinter are fighting over this island, Saharon. Tevinter's here, Tevinter Imperium. This is where kind of the first humans landed and settled. We've got Rivain. This was kind of like the... Mo really liked them. They were like the bog witches, seer ladies, that they don't really care about what religion's going on. Lots of pirates too. Antiva City, kind of merchant, wine, assassin, heavy vibes. Free marches, so these are like a collective of city-states basically. Navarra here, a kingdom that's famous for necromancy and dragon slaying basically. The Anderfels up here, very blighted, desolate land that houses the Grey Wardens, yet are somehow famous for art. I don't know. Then you've got Orlais down here. They're kind of like the Frenchy French people. They wear masks. They have weird fashion. And then you have Ferelden down here, which was the area where Origins takes place. And then Inquisition kind of takes place along both of these, Orlais, Ferelden. And then Kirkwall, which is right here, is where Dragon Age 2 happens. So the new game is going to be all up here more. Places we have not been once yet. The Dwarves of ASMR. No Wumple. Welcome in, Pierre Lee. The appearing Oh My rack has disappeared. Oh my gosh, because I kept the static one. Purely, I had to make room for the new emote. See if you can find the new emote. Eating dinner, so I'll be lurking. No problem, Mo. Purely with his usual hello stinkies, non-stinkies, and everything in between. I like that. I come here after missing almost the entirety of last stream due to a lamp in my house suddenly deciding to short circuit. Yeah, I remember that. The dwarves of Orzammar. Also, because we barely had any snacks last time, let's start early today. Oh my gosh, thanks, Shocky. Welcome in, Lurker. I mean, yeah, you're welcome to lurk. No problem at all. No judgment here. We all got our own stuff going on. Okay, we start off today on chapter 4 magic. Let's get our snacky snack in and a drink, and we will start. My snack today. Marina knows these. Marina knows these very well. I love these snacks. Yes, Chalky. Oh my god, Mr. Pierleone. Full named. Not full named, full nicknamed. Do you guys like the judging cat emote? I hope you like it. Oh my gosh, Soul knows them too. Oh no, I don't put them in the fridge, Marina. Are they better that way? I just have them at room temperature. Everyone else get a snack as well. If I snack, you snack, okay? Oh, they're crunchier. I will try that next time. Next batch that I buy. Chalky says I have a judging cat looking at me right now in real life. I like that. Wait, Lee, where's Lee? Lee, we need to read the special chapter for you again. The special paragraph. Lee, please, where are you? I need to make this 18 plus stream since you want it so badly. Literally though, you are blowing it so out of... Here it is. Look, you see this brown thing? That's all it is, Lee. And it says, the sex lives of everyday Thedosians. And this is an expert from In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of Chantry Scholar by Brother Genetivi. Our man, Brother Genetivi. What I find most interesting is that despite the lack of open discussion on matters of human sexuality, there is commonality to be found on the subject in all undressed lands. Typically, one's sexual habits are considered natural and separate from matters of procreation, and only among the nobility where procreation involves issues of inheritance and the union of powerful families is it considered of vital importance. Yet even there, a noble who has done their duty to the family might be allowed to pursue their own sexual interests without raising eyebrows.
How are you? Fine, thank you.
Oh my gosh! Thank you, the piggy. Welcome in. Hello, every piggy. The view on indulging lusts with a member of the same gender varies from land to land. In Orlais, it is considered a quirk of character and nothing more. In Ferelden, it is a matter of scandal if done indiscreetly, but otherwise nothing noteworthy. In Tevinter, it is considered selfish and deviant behavior among nobles, but actively encouraged with favored slaves. Nowhere is it forbidden, and sex of any kind is only considered worthy of judgment when taken into awful excess or performed in the public eye. That's literally it, and you are being such a baby. You're such a baby, Lee. Yeah, Lord Nerd Genetivi. We love him. No problem, the piggy. We were just bullying Lee. Because he just likes being a baby. About the sex word. Thank you for the bits. Yeah, so like I said that too in the summary. I said basically it's just... I just said, like, it basically says just, like, it depends on the person and the place. Okay, chapter 4, magic. Oh my god, I need to sit up a bit more, sorry. My back is already hurting. Who needs images with such descriptions? It makes Dumbledore peachy. The image isn't even related, you stinky. Okay. Oh, okay, cool. The timeline... I'm going to tilt the camera a bit because it's not showing. So we've got the timeline on the bottom of the book, if you guys remember. So here in the timeline, 387 towers. So basically year 387 after the Chantry was formed. The Imperial Chantry elects its own divine, a male magister named Valhale I. So this is when Tevinter basically split here as well, these two pieces of information are basically saying that the Tevinter splits from the Chantry, they make their own, and they name their own divine called the Black Divine. Alright, magic, magic, magic. I'm going to read this brown bit at the top. It usually gives a really nice summary and kind of like a cool little description. An Orlesian girl discovers lightning in her fingers when she touches a lake and kills all the fish. In the woods down the road, an elderly elf hides from Templars. His only company, the undead he calls to rise by cutting his arms. Far north, a Kunari with the power to make fire from air is chained, masked, and led around like a dog on a leash. These are mages. The terrible gift they wield is magic, and depending on their home, they may be feared, oppressed, or even celebrated. So that gives us a really good idea about how Thedas considers their mages. This line right here, depending on their home, they may be feared, oppressed, or celebrated. So we're going to learn about kind of which places consider what, and kind of what they do to their mages, how the magic comes about, and that sort of thing. So the idea is that magic courses through all living beings. We all have like the capacity for magic, but only a select few are born with the ability to manipulate it. So here it says mages aren't born with the... Oh, sorry, I'm contradicting myself. So they aren't born with the ability. It just surfaces, usually around like puberty. And it like, as the kind of bit up here said, some people just like all of a sudden out of their hands electricity just comes out, or maybe they get really upset and all of a sudden something lights on fire. Very similar to, I'd say, like the accidental magic in Harry Potter, where the kids are like, I don't know what's going on. It's not all of a sudden that they can just do blah blah blah, bing, bada bing, bada boom, a spell. It's usually like something elemental happening by accident, and then they have to learn how to control it. Sometimes eye color changes. So a lot of like fanfics, for example, will talk about mages and describe them with really, really bright colored eyes, because like a lot of like the text here says that sometimes their eye color changes. Yeah, it's confusing. Some people hide it, some people act out. And depending on where they live, different things will happen. I see a watch streak. Bandit on 50 streams. Well done, Bandit. You're a big boy streaker, Bandit. 75, 12. Change the color. Thank you very much. Posture check from the piggy. Everyone, let's do a little quick roll of the shoulders and a little twist of the back. I'm gonna be popping like crazy because I just came from dance, so I was exercising and stuff. Ugh. Yes, Chalky succinctly says, Tevinter basically said, your religion sucks. We will elect our own pope. Exactly. I always play as a mage, Marina says, ready to hear about my class. Yeah, I prefer a mage as well in Inquisition. Purely says, I rewatched the Dumble Dobby bit the other day, and when Dobby appeared in the corner of the stream, I almost spat out what I was eating. Lee, this is what you do to people. This is what your humor does. Okay. So to kind of break it down simply, Tevinter celebrates magic. They love magic. And the other places, it gets worse and worse how they consider magic. So to be a mage, your best place to be is Tevinter, because they love it there. As we'd said with like the social classes of Tevinter, you're higher in social class if you possess magic. So usually mages specialize in one or several kinds. Some are better at like the elements. Some are better at manipulating spirits and minds. Some are healers. Some are better at shielding. So, you know, your typical idea of what you think of mages. You have like your more support mages that do healing, shielding spells, fortifying defense, things like that. And then you have some that are offensive mages, so that they're throwing fireballs, they're laying down glyphs of like ice magic. You know, they're summoning an elemental kind of familiar to fight, things like that. I like to do lightning magic in Inquisition personally. And then, of course, some magic is more harmful than others, so blood magic is a big deal in Thedas. Basically, you'd have to actually like cut open. I'm not showing like you'd have to like cut open yourself. Your blood comes out, and because of that sacrifice, you're like able to possess more power for a short amount of time. So you can tell a blood mage because they'll have lots of small scars around their hands and arms, usually. Okay, here's a nice, cool, full spread picture of the Black Emporium, which is like a DLC merchant in a lot of the games. I think Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition had the Black Emporium, or Inquisition for sure did. Oh, I still got the ring light on. That's not, you're not going to see very well. There we go. You can probably see a little bit better now. I love the concept art. It's just so cool. Blood magic's always tricky. Yeah. Or you find it. Yes, true, Marina. Yeah, you either use your own blood or you use someone else's blood, which is obviously even worse because you're out there killing people. Wow, the art looks incredible. Yeah, the piggy. Here, I'll go back a bit so you guys can look at it. Yeah, so these are like the full cover spreads. Kind of like they're very concept art. They're not meant to be like something directly out of the game. And then you'll see there'll be lots of like various art styles. So this one here of Morrigan is very much like conceptual, abstract. Then this one, look, this is lyrium. This is something that helps people with their magic source. So look how cool that looks, concept art. Like if you think it looks like glowing algae or glowing tree roots, that's what it looks like basically. All right, properties of magic. First thing, we've got mana. So mana is basically the battery power of mages. A mage draws upon personal reservoir of mana to cast all spells. As breath is to breathing, mana is to magic. When a mage's mana is depleted, the mage must rest to recover it, much as a laborer must rest after physical exertion. Overexertion may well lead to death for the untrained or overly ambitious. So yeah, mana is basically like a muscle, almost. And I think each mage has like a certain set of mana. Like, so not every mage is born with the same amount of mana. Some will have more than others. And similar to how you train muscles to get more endurance, you can train to up your mana potential. So it's a potential that dwells within a person, but does not always manifest itself, as is this quote from a circle enchanter, like a mage. What's it say? All men are connected to the Fade. We go there to dream. But only those with the potential may draw upon its power. Mana is, then, a measurement of one's ability to draw power from the Fade, and it is this power that is expended into magic. So other than just rest, like sleeping and relaxing, you can also take potions to recover your mana. It's just that they're obviously like similar to how you take painkillers for a headache. If you take too many, they lose their purpose. Like your body gets used to them. You have to take more and more and more. So obviously you kind of got to mix a little bit of both. And lyrium is used. This plant kind of tree root glowing thing here, lyrium, is what they use to make mana potions. And that's the next section here, lyrium. Oh my god, it's glaring so much. I want to see if you can kind of see how it's like glowing in the shadow a bit. You can kind of see. Like it's not just white, it's actually like glowing like neon. Oh, the Black Emporium's in all 3 games. Okay, thank you, Chucky. The Picky, yes, you do need to play more Dragon Age. Yes, and Chalky brings us back to the point where we learned about dwarves, that dwarves don't have the capacity for magic, and it's because they don't connect to this place called the Fade, where they dream. I'm just adjusting the camera a bit. Sorry, hold on. There we go. So because they can't go to the Fade, they can't access their mana that they have born with. So then they can't do magic. We'll learn about the Fade. It's like a specific chapter coming up. All right, lyrium. It is the only non-living thing known to contain the essence of magic, the priceless blue-green crystal known as lyrium. This is a rare mineral found beneath the ground and is highly sought after for its magical properties, but it's also notoriously dangerous. If living beings are exposed to lyrium in its raw form, it will slowly drive them mad. It can also cause physical calamities such as deafness, memory loss, and nausea. So dwarves have a natural resistance to lyrium, which is why they can go mine it, and why the dwarven merchants are like the only source of lyrium basically, because no one else can go and mine it. They go mad being near it. And again, more beings are sensitive to lyrium than others, so there's kind of like a range there. It's not just like that it affects everyone the same way. That's what I said about the dwarves. Regardless of its state, lyrium is addictive. So that's kind of what I mentioned about the taking painkillers too often. Like, it's addictive. So you're always going to want more and more and more if you keep taking it. So you need to kind of balance out how much you take. Lyrium actually emits a sound as well. It emits a strangely soothing sound, that some call the voice of the maker. The chantry claims the mineral is a remnant from the birth of the world when the maker created the land and skies. They believe lyrium is not so much the essence of magic as the essence of all creation. So that's a bit more of a religious stance. But in essence, oh my gosh, have you guys played Skyrim? Because I think it really reminds me of Nirnroot in Skyrim. You know, in like the underground place in Skyrim? What's it called? The Undercroft? No, that's not what it's called. Blackreach? I think it's Blackreach. When you go down in Skyrim to like the place where all like the Falmer are and like there's lots of glowing plants and stuff, there's a plant there that glows like this, more green than blue, and it emits this kind of like a mosquito kind of buzzing sound. Lyrium does that too. Hi Dan, I think I might have missed you earlier, but be right back, no problem. Yes, Marina, we we talked about it last stream about, like, I said at the beginning, we looked at the timeline, and the first thing on the timeline in the bottom of the page, I'll tilt again to show, like, so this timeline that goes along the bottom of the page, the devs of the game thought back so far that they don't even have a date set for the first event in history, which was elves forming the city of Arlathan. So, like, they're thinking of, like, 5,000 years of history, and for what? For 3 video games. Well, now, soon to be 4. Like, okay, what? I love it. Yes, Mo with the E! Alright, uses of lyrium. Supplying mana for magic, so when mages take it, it can help replenish their mana. Entering the Fade. Lyrium is an integral part of a ritual that allows mages to separate spirit from body and enter the Fade voluntarily. So this is a way, like, instead of just sleeping, you would enter it, like, in a conscious state. Item enchantment. Sorry. Dwarves have a long used lyrium to create enchanted items. So even though dwarves can't use magic, they have this resistance to lyrium. And, what's it called? And they are very known for enchanting items. Like, dwarven enchanted items are like the best enchanted weapons and items. It's used as light. Trace amounts of lyrium can be infused in stones to create glow stones, which are used to light passages. This practice is most common in Relay. So you can even use this to light stuff because it glows. I mean, there's also books and comics and one movie, but yeah, the game came first. Yeah, but that's what I mean, Chucky, right? Like, it's like, okay, this is like, now it's kind of spread, like, similar to Star Wars, where it's got lots of, like, you know, extra stuff, books and movies and comic books and stuff. But really, when you think about it, it just started with this game, Dragon Age Origins. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna think about, like, all this stuff that happened before. Enchantment. Remember, G, your podcast needs an invasive advert, so just break into ad anytime you want. Authentic podcast. I mean, yeah, my podcast already worked as an ad because Zero already bought the box set. But like, let's advertise to Winter Nights, everybody. Let's advertise one of the novels. Marina likes it. Marina's read it. No, I'm just kidding. We'll do the books in a little bit. Okay, and magical immunity is another use of lyrium. The Templar mage hunters of the Chantry engage in a ritual involving lyrium that grants them the ability to dispel and resist magic. So, Rack Pointer, if you come back here. This group here, the Templars, the Flaming Sword, they are guards for the Chantry, which is this group, the kind of main religious body of most of Thedas. And they protect people from the mages and magic and their misuse of magic, basically. So the Templars here, they actually ingest lyrium, but not because they're mages. It actually allows them to suppress magic. They can do something called a smite, which means like they do some sort of spell, and the mage in question that they've aimed this spell as, like, their mana gets cut off for a short period of time. It depends on how strong the Templar is. and it kind of crumples them down to the ground. So like imagine like you're like knocking them out basically. You like cut them off from their mana. The only problem with that is that because lyrium is so addictive, these Templars that are not mages are taking lyrium and they become addicted. The love of my life, Cullen Rutherford from the Dragon Age series. He's romanceable in Inquisition, my love, my baby. He was unfortunately addicted to lyrium because he was a Templar, and he stopped being a Templar, but the addiction doesn't just go away because you quit the order. So that's something to consider as well. Cullen, my boy. Technically the whole stream is an ad. G already got some people to spend money on Dragon Age merch. Yes. G the sales rack. To Winter Nights, I love it a normal amount. Yes, Marina. Here's another excerpt. So a confession of an unknown Templar found among Montsimard Chantry records in 872 Blessed. Confessions of a lyrium addict. So normally I'm not reading out these kind of text like codex things, but this one I think is really going to come across how addictive lyrium is. So a prison cell, a scrap of paper for my confession, scarce enough bread and water. All I get for skimming one lousy bottle from the lyrium stores. Knight Lieutenant Freyan cut my normal ration for insubordination. Insubordination, my arse. It's because I saw him desert the guard tower to meet his girl. Freyan thought he'd teach me a lesson. I'm thirsty, but the water doesn't work. It should be more blue. You take it like medicine at first, the lyrium. Your whole body sings with it, like the Maker's own fire. You're not scared of anything, not even abominations, which are like possessed mages, basically. Mages possessed by demons. After it even takes away the nightmares. But the ration's too small. If they don't give you enough, your hands get cold. The sky starts to press down on you. Little things slip away, so you have to stay. The senior Templars all have that look, that cloudy look in their eyes. Sign your confession, they said. I'm trying. I can't think of what name to sign. So unfortunately, repeated lyrium use for Templars causes this severe addiction. And towards the end, like, you don't really see a lot of older Templars because towards the end, dementia and like memory loss takes over, and they become so addicted that they end up usually just dying because no amount of lyrium is enough. They leave the order, they get kicked out of the order. There's no legal way for them to get lyrium if they're not in the Templars, and so they just die because of this addiction that they have. They try to get it, they maybe get it through illegal means, they overdose, you know, like very similar. I think it's like a good commentary on a lot of drug addiction that we have going on in our world, except this one is not just recreational drug addiction or drug use, it's organization based, because the Templar is a body of the religious organization that like governs the world. So like that's pretty messed up, you know. And here's a fun little thing. You know, we've just been talking about lyrium. It's blue, but there's bad lyrium too. But Georgia, you say, isn't lyrium already bad? Well, yes, there's even worse lyrium, and that's red lyrium. Red lyrium is basically corrupted lyrium, a more potent form. It's been more recently discovered. It's discovered for the first time in Dragon Age 2. Welcome back, Dan. This red lyrium, it's not a slow addiction. This corrupts, and it messes you up. If you see the picture here, this here is a character from Dragon Age 2, Meredith, Knight Commander Meredith Stannard, as we all know too well. This is what happens to you when you get corrupted by red lyrium. Fun. Yeah, great. Badder lyrium. Yeah, there's bad lyrium and then there's badder lyrium. Blue lyrium. Blue is the good guys, red is the bad guys. Star Wars logic. Except they're both bad. Yeah, so red lyrium was first discovered when Hawk and Varric went down into the deep roads for an expedition in Kirkwall in Dragon Age 2. And they discovered a giant veins of mineral, but it was red, not blue. Which is very bad. Very, very bad. It's basically, think about like, you know, a more heavy drug that just makes you feel invincible, and it just takes over you. Yeah. And it says here the dwarves had no history of red lyrium, so it's something new, and we don't know in the games, like how it's come about or like why necessarily. I think maybe we learn about it a little bit in one of the DLCs for Inquisition. You know, the one where we go down to the deep roads. But I don't remember if we know why red lyrium happens or if we just know about lyrium in general. Okay, magic in the Chantry. So the Chantry, as I said, is the main kind of religious body most people believe in. We'll go rack pointer. Go over to the Chantry, please. There we go. So the Chantry is a majority religion in most of the countries, as we learned last time. Lee, but Georgia, isn't lyrium already bad? Yes, thank you. So this is a majority religion in most of the countries. So that means a lot of mages are affected by whatever the Chantry thinks about magic. So unfortunately, though, this religion has a hard distrust of magic. Who has fed the rack with a bit? Miss Donnie, thank you very much. Look at him munching away. He's happy with his snack, thank you. You get a heart above your name for the extra bits.
Alright, shotgun to the face of Georgia. It's a glorious day to kill Georgia.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you for the bits. Even if it's celebrating me getting shotgunned in the face. There's a certain nostalgia that the Inquisition music brings. Yes. Yeah, I thought about playing like Dragon Age music behind my stream instead of my, you know, lo-fi thing that I've got going right now. But I was really worried about copyright, so I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, so the Chantry does not like magic. They have a really harsh distrust for it.
Caps lock, go for Georgia. Georgia's down there, right there. 29 health. You'll kill Georgia. It'll be perfect.
Thank you, Kira. He. What a funny. Thank you. Thanks. Anyway, yeah, okay, so they've got a harsh stance against magic. And it kind of causes a lot of mages to hide it at risk of either almost imprisonment or death. I was so confused that, yeah. That's, were you there at the worm stream, the piggy? That's what it's from. Okay, so despite their rigid stance, it doesn't forbid magic entirely, but basically it says, okay, their stance is, the commandment is, that magic should serve man rather than rule him. So they don't say get rid of it entirely, but they're just like, you are lower if you have magic. You shouldn't be ruling, you shouldn't be in power if you have magic. And that's why Tevinter split from the Chantry, because they like magic a lot. So they're like, no, we don't agree with that. That's stupid. Magic is great. So yeah, we're going to make our own divine and our own Chantry. That's kind of what that says. Yeah, so there was 2 important limitations. Blood magic was strictly forbidden. Mages could not unduly influence rulers or become rulers themselves. So they're required to be politically neutral. Most mages are restricted to healing and other peaceful applications. However, the Chantry still feared that playing with magic risked mages becoming abominations, being taken over by demons for possession, basically. To monitor proper use of magic, they created the Templar Order. So that's the guys I mentioned that take the lyrium. And we'll kind of see how they imprison them as well. Okay, here's a cool little thing though about the limits of magic. So just going to quickly read these off. So age is a limit of... These are kind of factors that may influence how powerful you are. Age, physically entering the Fade, mundane tasks, all-powerful artifacts, restoring life, and traveling great distances. So these are kind of things you either can or can't do, and things that affect like your ability as well. I've got to shuffle again here. Sorry, my back is not doing too good today. Ooh. Give me a second. I'm just trying not to knock everything over. Hi, Zero. Currently out with uni friends, but wanted to quickly say hi. No problem, thanks, and enjoy your evening. Purely, I'm working on it. I made a note to make a croissant, but I just haven't had time yet. Sorry. Okay. So that was kind of the original commandments against mages. No blood magic and kind of restricted use, I think, was what it said. Yeah, they cannot rule. Then the Second Blight came along, And they were allowed to use their full magic to help fight the Darkspawn. And during the Second Blight, the first Circle of Magi was created, with the signing of the controversial Navaran Accord by the Chantry and the newly aligned Seekers of Truth. So these are two other groups. The Seekers, so the Magi, Circle of Magi is this circular symbol, obviously, and then the Seekers are next to them. So these are two more groups that came about along with the Templars. All of these are related to the Chantry, basically. So the Circle of Magi is kind of the organization of mages, obviously, and then Seekers of Truth are similar to Templars, but they have like different abilities and different kind of responsibilities. So the Templars and the mages are together, like they live in a space together. The Templars watching over the mages, and the Seekers kind of do something else. What does it say? Yeah, so once the Circle of Magi was formed, towers started popping up, and this is basically where the mages were confined to live. They kind of decided, well, we don't trust you guys, so we're going to lump you all together in one living space, and we're going to make Templars live there too, and they're basically going to watch your every move. You're going to be in prison there. You can't leave, and you can't practice magic in the way you want to. Dan says, oh yeah, you guys are Illusion and Dan are admiring Flemeth here. Yes, some cool art. Some say the Witch of the Wilds. Some say, everybody, it says right here at the bottom, some say the Witch of the Wilds, known as Flemeth, is several hundred years old. Seekers are like a special task force of the Templars. Yeah, so they've got similar abilities, but they're like slightly more like cooler and like, ugh, that's classified, you know? Like if you think about like a military kind of vibe. Ooh, this is fun. Ghast shamans, known as Valgastriels, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, unearth corpse totems to do their bidding. Well, that's fun. Look at that guy. He looks like he's having a great time. Look, everybody, it's Kevin Scully. Oh, I can't show it. Look, everybody, it's Kevin Scully. There he is, in all his glory. What a man. Oh, timeline-wise, we haven't really missed much, I don't think. Let me just quickly check back. We had the Black Age named, and I mean the Black Age. Oh, we did miss a lot, actually. The Chantry called 4 exalted marches against the Imperium because they were mad about the whole them creating their own Chantry. They all failed, though, unfortunately. Oh, and werewolves reappeared during the Black Age. What else happened? Orlais invaded Ferelden. All the Ferelden tribes kind of banded together to fight back. So that was the first failed invasion of Ferelden by Orlais. And then we got the Exalted Age. So the last Exalted March on the Imperium ends in a retreat from Orlais. So basically Orlais were like so mad about their religion, they wanted to fight. They did all these religious prosecutions of Tevinter, and they all failed. Sucks to suck. Orlais. Alright, yeah, here's what I was talking about, the towers. So the Circle of Magi is our next bit. So this is an example, like a conceptual art of a circle tower. There's no... Oh no, here... Yeah, there's no label of this being like a specific one, so this is just a concept art to kind of give you an idea of what they might look like. We've seen a few in the various games, obviously. So Circle of Magi, no single organization in Thedas has more influence over mage culture than the Circle. But as I said, like it's kind of a prison as much as it is like a place to gather them all, like in a good way, you know? Like I think they're more like prisons than they are good. It depends, because some mages are better off being in the Circle because of their circumstance, and others it is like a prison sentence, basically. Yeah, because some children, like as soon as they're presented with magic abilities, like they start coming out. Instead of getting sent to Hogwarts like they do in Harry Potter, they get sent to these circles and have like... Wait, Cheeks! Why is there a mention of Cheeks? Oh, because Kevin. Seekers are a high authority for Templars? Yes, you guys are right. I always think of them as the FBI compared to the normal police. True. Yes, some say Kevin! Kevin, before you go, we were just talking about you. Look, it's you. Look, it's a skelly. It's a skelly boy. It's you. We literally had just been talking about you. Look. It's you. But hope you're having a good evening, whatever you get up to. And thanks for popping by to say hello. I keep moving the book over this way, even though it's like showing my laptop. If they were like schools, it'd be fine, but they're more like prisons, I agree. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, let's see. Hold on. Let's quickly make a detour to the bestiary. Let's see if there's another skeleton for Lee. Or not for Lee, what am I saying? For Kevin. I know I'm making all these detours. It's not boding well for my time for the stream. Ugh, look at all these disgusting types of creatures they have in Dragon Age, though. Disgusting. Oh, I don't think there's any more skelly boys. I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm not seeing any. No, dang. I'll find some other pictures and I'll take a picture for you later. Here's another design of a circle. I really like this. You can see like the shield. This is the Templar shield in the middle, the flaming sword of Andraste, basically. And a cool like kind of dwarven architecture. Uh-oh, in this timeline though, in the Exalted Age, the Fourth Blight begins with the awakening of old god Andorral. This is the one where it happened in Free Marches, Ravane, and the Anderfells. So that takes over a lot of area. I'll go back to the map. Where is my map? There it is. So, Free Marches... What does it say? Oh yeah, Free Marches, Ravane, and Anderfells. So that's covering a lot of area. The Fourth Blight, unfortunately. Oh, and apparently the youngest divine ever to have been appointed at 19 happened in the Exalted Age. Yeah, so, I mean, the circle... Yeah, they're usually huge structures, towers dominating city skylines and country horizons. There's usually lots of room to hold everybody. Because basically, yeah, if they're taking mages anywhere and imprisoning them there, they have to have room for all of them, right? So they're usually quite big. The future of the Circle of Magi, and indeed all mages of Thedas, is uncertain. So this has to do with the plot of the end of Dragon Age 2 and then Inquisition. The Circle, Templars, and Chantry are all at odds after a series of bloody mage-Templar conflicts that led to many Templars and Seekers severing ties with the Chantry in 940 Dragon. Loyalties are also split within mage leadership, as some support the Circle system while other mages support independence. So these circles, as we've said, they're kind of controversial. Some view them as like a good thing, and whether you want to consider it like a Stockholm syndrome, you could, but definitely there's some people that are better off being here than being left alone with magic, because some people aren't capable enough to control their magic and they end up being possessed. So at least if they're in a circle environment, they have that protection and they're able to train safely to kind of control their abilities. But then, of course, there's others that are imprisoned there and they would be perfectly fine on their own. So it's a very controversial issue. And I think it's one where, like, people should be able to decide, do I want to go here and be supported because maybe I feel I need it? Or do I want to live independently and come and have all the risks that come with being a mage independently and take on those risks, you know? Here's another concept art of a circle. This one is the Circle Tower in Ferelden, so you actually visit here in Origins. I like this one. It's like in the middle of the lake, so you've got this broken bridge. You've got these kind of jutting rocks. You can only get to it by boat. It's called Kinloch Hold. My baby Cullen was tortured here, unfortunately. He did not have a good time. Alright, some things about circles. I just wanted to see if I missed a caption somewhere. So, let's say that a lot of mages are practicing some nefarious magic. They lose control. They get possessed by demons. Maybe a lust demon just grabs hold of them. You would know about that, Lee. You've been tempted by lust demons before, I'm sure. But let's just say a lust demon whispers in the ear of a mage, and they succumb to the sweet promises that this demon is suggesting. They get taken over by this lust demon, and they become an abomination. This is an abomination, basically. These are what kind of, this is like an example of what demons look like. So let's say the whole tower is compromised. Maybe lots of abominations come through, or maybe the mages stage a revolt. Then the Templars are allowed to enact something called the harrowing. Oh no, not the harrowing. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the rite of rite of annulment. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry. I'm talking about this. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm talking about something called the annulment, which basically means that they're able to like clean sweep kill everyone in the tower if something goes wrong, which is not good, because maybe there's still mages that are good in there, but they're hiding from the bad ones, or the ones that have been taken over. But the Templars had just decided, you know what, we're gonna cut our losses and we're just gonna wipe the whole tower and start over. That's called the rite of annulment. I'm getting ahead of myself though. The harrowing is what I wanted to talk about next. Kevin is secretly the archivist in the Black Emporium. True! Templars have the option to completely cut off mages from their powers as well. Yeah, that's the smite that we've talked about earlier. To be fair, Georgia, Panam has me looking in my TV in a way. Can we get a thirst counter for Lee, please? Can we get an exclamation thirst in the chat for Lee? Using his racked rule over Panam. The quest was hard. Yeah, I've never played Origins, so I don't know how hard it was. Mages have to pass a trial. Yes, so illusion. I keep switching between Illusion and Marina. I don't know why. Because I keep seeing your nickname, but then sometimes I use your real name. But Illusion makes the point, yeah, of what we want to talk about next, the harrowing, which is basically a trial by fire. They're like, the Templars are like, we want to see if you can resist possession and temptation. And they basically are forced to go into a state where they have to go into the Fade and come into contact with demons and then resist the temptation, say no, and safely make it out. All the while that this is happening, a Templar is standing over them holding a sword, ready to just kill them. If any sign of possession comes about, they're ready to just kill them. So that's the harrowing. A lot of people can get through the harrowing, no problem. Maybe not no problem, but you know, most... oh yeah, the timer's quite short. Maybe we can up the timer. It's okay, because it's Lee. It's a rare one without Lee. Oh, wait a second. You guys have counted me being thirsty. Oh, I've said the wrong one. It should be exclamation naughty. Oh no, you've given me 2 thirst counters. Oh well. That means I have 2 free times to be naughty. Lee, that's the wrong one. So now I have 3 free times to be naughty now. Thank you, Lee. Thank you for that. Yeah, so most mages can get through the harrowing. This is a picture depicting a harrowing. So the mage here is getting tempted by the demons, but she's trying to fight it. Some people, though, are like, I'm terrified at this. I don't want to risk just dying. So they can elect to become tranquil, this section here. They can elect to instead take the rite of tranquility. This, though, is extremely barbaric. The rite of tranquility basically severs a mage's ability to... it severs their connection to the Fade. So they lose their magical ability, they lose their ability to dream, and because they have these at the start and they lose them, they essentially lose all ability to convey emotion. So they basically, on their forehead, they get branded a sunburst symbol, like this kind of star sunburst symbol that the Chantry has. I'm putting the rack pointer there to show you. They get that branded on their forehead, and they basically, it's almost like a lobotomy. I don't know another way to kind of compare it, because yeah, all of a sudden you can't use magic, you can't dream, you have no more emotions. It's pretty much like a lobotomy, honestly. So some people elect to do that, but as Chalky mentioned earlier, sometimes this is abused. Like, if you, let's say you're a mage in a circle, and you just piss off this Templar in the wrong way, this Templar can just say, we're making them tranquil now. So this is something that's really, really abused, unfortunately, and it's very, very bad. Mo says, so basically it's be possessed and risk death, or live as if you were dead. Yeah, that's essentially why mages, like mages are so oppressed in the chantry. It's so bad. Yeah, it's controversial among mages who argue the ethics of the practice. But while non-tranquil may consider an emotionless existence to be horrifying, the tranquil do not possess the desire to object. So it's one of those things where, like, yeah, that can be really abused, right? Because you could do it to someone forcibly, and then afterwards you can ask them, like, as a victim, like, where did you choose to do this? And they're like, I don't know what choice is. You know? Hey, it's horrible. It's so horrible. Yeah, and so it says here that it's not that tranquil can't be possessed, it's that the spirits have no interest in them anymore because they have no emotions. If the spirit is coaxed to touch a tranquil's mind, however, the right may be reversed. But I don't think that's ever happened. I don't think we ever have an instance of that. Only if you guys know about Cassandra in Inquisition, is that Seekers, these people, this symbol, the kind of FBI Special Forces branch of the Chantry, to become a Seeker and gain their abilities, instead of taking lyrium like the Templars, they basically become tranquil, and then they have like a way to kind of reverse it, and that gives them the powers of the Seekers. Just checking out the timeline, see if there's anything interesting. It's all just about the Blight. Lots of different stuff about the Blight. It's still not over yet, though. Oh, yeah, this is what I think mentioned one of the Blights. So yeah, the fourth Blight. So many Darkspawn are slayed that many believe there will never be another Blight, but we all know from Origins that the fifth Blight comes along. But then kind of the Darkspawn are killed along the surface, and then no one cares that they're still underground anymore, so the Dwarven population suffers. And also many Griffins are killed. So in the Exalted era, 525 Exalted, that's kind of when we lose Griffins. Although we know in Dragon Age Veilguard somehow a Griffin survived, because I think we have one in the game. Or like one Warden character has a Griffin. Yes, in Inquisition we learn that there's actually a secret right to tranquility, which I think is to do with the Seekers, yeah. Gonzi is here. You say lobotomy funny with your cute Canadian accent. Wait, how do you guys pronounce lobotomy? Yeah, Asan in Veilguard has the Griffin right. Yeah, I remember there being something about like somehow there was one alive. Okay, there's lots of politics. Hold on, I just want to pull up stream info just to see how long we've been going for. Because we still haven't finished the first chapter we're on for today. Magic is such a big chapter though. Okay, we're almost an hour. Whoops. Okay, circle politics. Yeah, there's a lot of politics to the circle. They run on a hierarchy. So among the mages themselves, they have a hierarchy, like Grand Enchanter, First Enchanters, and then you kind of go down from there. And then there's like a Templar hierarchy as well. And so like I said earlier, like if you piss off the wrong person in this hierarchy, you may get made tranquil or like abused in some. There's lots of abuse that goes on in circles. It's really bad. This character here is First Enchanter or Sino. He's a major character in Dragon Age 2 as well. This is an example of a Tevinter mage, so you can see because they're way more celebrated. They've got look at all this cool armor and stuff. All right, the Fraternity of Enchanters. Mages with strong political leanings may join noble orders or fraternities. I think this is more in Tevinter. We've got the Equitarians, Libertarians, Resolutionists, Isolationists, Loyalists, and Lucrosians. These aren't really well known. I haven't even heard any of these before. They're just kind of similar to political parties, I guess, but to do with magic. Oh, Asan is the Griffin. Oh, that's cool. Tranquility cuts off the person's connection to the Fade, so to restore the connection, they basically need to force a Deccan to possess them for a brief moment. Yeah. Oh, you learned about them in the Sunder. Thanks, Illusion, because yeah, like these words aren't that familiar to me, even though I've read through the book once. Obviously, I don't remember every single thing. Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna look at magic in other cultures and places. So we've looked at, this is the Chantry we've looked at, the kind of most prominent religious order. Now let's look at how they are in other places. So as I said in Tevinter, they're a much different story. There's a saying that humans are lucky to be born mages. Humans are lucky to be born, and mages lucky to be born in Tevinter. So you basically, if you're a mage, your best bet is living in Tevinter because you will be celebrated, you will be elevated in status. Whereas the Kunari fear magic's potential, but take its treatments of mages to extreme that even the Chantry might consider cruel. In contrast, mages are the backbone of society in Tevinter. Their government is totalitarian magocracy, where the rights of mages are both paramount and glorified. Dwarves are the only common race in Thedas unable to wield magic through natural means. Their resistance to magic, and by extension lyrium, has allowed them to hone skills in enchantment. Enchantment? Enchanted dwarf weapons are prized throughout Thedas. So, as bad as we've been talking about the Chantry and how they treat mages, the Chantry is actually the middle ground for magical treatment. Because on the pro side, you've got Tevinter, and on the absolute con side, you've got the Kunari. So Chantry actually falls somewhere in the middle. So as messed up as the stuff we've been learning about in this circle, they're actually kind of the middle ground. Because as you can see here, this is what Kunari mages look like, if you can see the picture here. Trying to reduce the glare a bit. So Kunari mages are tied up, their mouths are sewn shut, and they become like reduced citizens, like almost like animals rather than people. The mages there are called Sarebas. And yeah, like it's really cruel. Like I think in Dragon Age 2 you meet a Sarebas when you come across the Kunari. And yeah, they're basically like, yeah, their mouths are sewn shut. I think they're chained. They're not allowed to speak. They're not allowed to do anything because the Kunari are so rigid with their religion that they're like, no, this magic thing is too unpredictable. No, it doesn't fit in our rigid order, you know? That's kind of the idea. I don't know if I want to read too much into this because we're already running a bit behind. I think we've already said pretty much everything, is that Tevinter prizes them, you get higher status if you have magic, and then yeah, Sarebas and the Kun. The Kunari fear and loathe magic. It's still possible for a follower of the Kun to be born with the power to use it. A Kunari mage is known as a Sarebas, meaning dangerous thing. The Kunari treat them with brutality and caution. Yeah, Sarebas must be carefully controlled by someone else, an Avarad, one who holds back evil, because they cannot truly control themselves. So, oops, sorry, I hit my mic. So basically, the Kunari view them as almost animals rather than second-class citizens. So that's kind of the ranking. Tevinter, mages are first-class citizens. No nobility, like high ranking. Chantry, mages are second-class citizens. Kunari, mages are animals. That's kind of the ranking system. If Georgia hasn't heard of them, then the book made it up. I don't make the rules. the shrug. I love it. As horrible as Chantry teaches mages, at least they're not slaves. Yeah, the way Kunari mages are treated is absolutely disgusting. Yes, I agree. Bay Morrigan, look at her. Oh yeah, and then another faction of mages is in Navarra, the place with the skull logo, the places that the kingdom that does necromancy. You've got the death mages of Navarra. So this is the Mortalitasi order, and they are very, very important to Navarran culture. They almost control the country more than the king does. Members of the order rarely leave Navarra. While they are well respected within the kingdom, mages outside the nation's borders fear them. So it's kind of this interesting case where it's like, is it a cult? Like, people in the country are like, yeah, they're great. I keep doing thumbs up like this when it doesn't look good. I'm like this, like, yeah, they're great. And then people outside of Navarra are like, yeah, these guys are weird. And then we have the forgotten magic of the Dalish. So the elves, the nomadic elves, the Dalish, they have a very old kind of magic, more like nature magic. But they also have these kind of, a lot of their magic is lost as well because of their culture almost dying out. So one thing that's really important for Veilguard coming up is these things called illuvians. They are basically magic mirrors that like you walk through them. It's like a portal. But people don't know how to make these because this has been lost to time and the persecution and exalted marches against the elves. So people don't know how to make these anymore. The elves don't know, and nobody else does. Yeah, and elves are really like, spirits are a no-go. No blood magic, no manipulation of spirits. Except, of course, Meryl in Dragon Age 2. She does what she wants. She decided to do blood magic. And that's our last section, I think, of the chapter is apostates and blood magic. So apostates is basically the title for those that refuse to go into the circle. They become mages on the run, basically like a fugitive more. They have to hide their magic and kind of keep on the run. Morrigan is a famous apostate. Oh, wait a second. I missed a streak redeem from Kemp. Thank you so much, Kemp. Sorry. I must have been going on a rant. You're in the book. On a 3-stream streak. Well done. Thank you so much. I know sometimes it's hard for you to tune in, so I appreciate it. Yeah, so Morrigan is a famous example of an apostate, someone that's like, no, I'm not living in your stupid circle tower prison thing. I'm going to go on my own. Yes, Chalky mentions the keepers are very important to Dalish magic. The most dangerous of apostates are the Maleficarum, which is the Tevinter word, meaning one who is depraved. These are basically people that use blood magic. So the people that are like, ugh, you're using the risky stuff. Maleficarum and Maleficar. Oh, excuse me, hiccup. Yeah, traditionally the Chantry's opinion is that any mage who lives outside the Chantry outside the circle is breaking the commandments of the Maker and must be hunted. Oh yeah, there was something I forgot to mention. There's this thing to track down mages called phylacteries. It's basically a vial of a sample of mage's blood, and the Templars can use it to track down the mage. So if any mage that joins the circle gets made a phylactery, and it basically means that now they can never leave because they'll always, unless they destroy their phylactery, they will always be tracked down. Really, really disgusting practice, honestly. Here's an example of an apostate. Our man Anders. Good old Anders from Dragon Age 2. I'm glad you're liking it, Gons. Is it as chill as the Bob Ross streams you like to watch? Anderson. Anders, our little stinker. Anders was an extreme level apostate because he teamed up with a spirit of justice, but like hardcore justice, and he blew up a chantry and bad things, and he basically started the Mage Templar War for what it is currently. You tried, buddy. You tried, but you did a bit too much. Sorry. This is about the First Inquisition. I'm not going to read all of that. I'm just trying to see if it says what it's about. But it's by our brother Jenna TV. Anyway, he's right. It's about the First Inquisition. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. And then here we've got something about blood magic. Look how nice this looks. Look how nice. Isn't that great? Some zombie people. Yeah, not up for debate. So apostates are like so-so. They're not great. They're kind of fugitives on the run technically. But it's like some people like live in peace with them. Like you'll have some villages that like have an apostate, But because they help out the village enough, the village doesn't like rat them out. But blood magic is the big no-no. And of course, where do they practice a lot of blood magic? Tevinter! We're back to Tevinter as the bad guys, everybody. So they celebrate magic a lot, but yeah, they also use blood magic a lot. And unfortunately, they don't use it by themselves. They kill elven slaves to get their blood for it. Yeah, so that's the reason as well why like a lot of Tevinter people are really good at magic, because there's a history of blood magic and sacrifice. Ooh! Here we've got a pride demon. Look at that, everyone. Look at him. Dee 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 dee. Tickle, tickle, tickle. I like the design of pride demons. They're really cool. They use electricity and stuff too. Like, look at that boy. Look at him roar. Roar. Oh, I forgot to check the timeline. Oh yeah, the steel. We're on the Steel Age now, because Queen Madrigal was killed in Antiva. Oh, and in 615 Steel, dragons are hunted to nearly extinction by the Pentaghasts, Cassandra's family. Obviously not her. It's before her time. And the Kunari land in Parvolin. So 15 years after they believe dragons to be extinct, these large gray creatures with dragon-like horns land on the island of Parvolin for the first time. So that must have been really freaky. Okay, that says... Yeah, while blood magic is discouraged even in the pro-mage Imperium, it is still widely, if quietly, practiced there. So it's one of those kind of hidden things where it's like, you would never go, like a Tevinter would never say, oh yeah, I use blood magic, but it's like, it's one of those things like everyone does it. Like people lying about using Botox. It's just like, yeah, but we know you do it. Like, you know? Yeah. That's kind of the basic idea. Oh, I like this excerpt. Responsible blood magic. Letter from Magister Esthea to her apprentice. So they're so delusional in Tevinter that they believe that there's like a responsible level of blood magic. Fun. Oh, look at this as well, everybody. So we were talking about mages becoming abominations, being like taken over by a demon, kind of tempting them. This here is an example of an abomination, if you can see the photo. This guy, look at him. Hot date. Who wants to take this guy out for a hot date? This abomination. Okay, and then this picture is depicting that the more violent the pain or death used in blood magic, the more powerful a spell becomes. So that's why it's especially bad. Alright. Religion! An hour and 12 minutes in, and we've made it through one chapter. Good job, everyone. But these are big chapters, I'm sorry. Religion is a chunky chapter as well. I don't know if we're gonna get through all this today. Like, look how thick. It's, how many pages is this? 129 from, okay, it's like 20 pages. We'll try to go a bit faster. We'll take a 2-minute break though. Ooh. I'm into it. I'd hold hands with him. I'm not surprised, Mo. Yeah, Dragon Age 2 ends with the images, or ends with the mages revolting all over their and requesting freedom, and then that's why, yeah, at the beginning of Inquisition, they're holding a summit. Snack time. Thanks, Chalky. I'm gonna show off as well the first 2 books of the novels. Here they are. So I've read this one, The Stolen Throne. This is about King Merrick. You've got here Loghain, who you might know from Dragon Age Origins if you've played it, and then here's Rowan, Merrick's betrothed and like childhood friend, and we've got here in the shadowy side Catriel, someone who Merrick likes, but he's already betrothed. So there's drama, there's love triangles, it all. The thrilling prequel to Dragon Age Origins, the hit role-playing game. When his mother, the beloved rebel queen, is betrayed and brutally murdered before his eyes, young Merrick becomes the leader of the rebel army, fighting for freedom of his cruelly repressed nation. So this is depicting when Orlais has, for the second time, taken over Ferelden and occupied them. Look, there's even a map of Ferelden, everyone. Isn't it great when books have maps? That's a sexy map right there. So that this shows you where the book takes place, all in the country of Ferelden. Here. All of this is Ferelden. You got Guarin, you've got Brazilian Forest and the Passage, you've got Denerim, the capital, you've got the Hinterlands, you've got Lake Kellenhad, this is where the Circle Tower is here, Frostback Mountains, Kokari Wild, so this is where Flemeth and Morrigan are from, and more, yeah. And then the Calling, I'm only just started this one, I'm only 2 chapters in. I have chapter 3 next. So that's what that one looks like. Quite an interesting face there on the cover. So this is another prequel to Origins, but it comes like a little while after this one. Like it's not like an immediate sequel. There's like an epilogue and like a bunch of years pass between this one and this one. After 200 years of exile, King Merrick has allowed the legendary Grey Wardens to finally return to Ferelden. But they bring with them dire news. One of their own has escaped into the deep roads and aligned himself with their ancient enemy, the monstrous Darkspawn. So this one is an expedition into the deep roads. Really, really excited to read this one. And it introduces a character that is in an Origins DLC, the Architect. So he's like the first intelligent Darkspawn ever. Like he can talk and strategize and everything. Normally the Darkspawn are like bumbling zombie sort of deal. Okay, yeah, and again, we got a map. So it's in Ferelden, but it's all underground. It's all in the deep roads. So that's the first 2 books. Okay. Yeah, Chalky likes the Pride Demons too. Yeah, we'll look at more of the demons later in the bestiary. Quick snacky snack. Everyone get a snack. Sorry for chewing the mic. Yeah, Dan says the whole Anders and Sebastian thing in Dragon Age 2 is especially interesting depending on your character views and if you're romancing one of them. Yeah. Yeah, I think the Hawk playthroughs where Hawk and Anders are romancing is super interesting because then you get to that choice of whether you're going to kill him or not, and you're just like, oh no. Oh no. Alright. Let's do this. Religion. So here we've got the symbol of the Chantry. Let's get the rack pointer up here. So this is the star sunburst symbol of the Chantry. This is also the symbol you'll see on Tranquil's forehead. Alright. Thedas would not be what it is without religion. Faith in higher power drives the history and politics behind every nation on the continent, from the Makers faithful in Orlais and Ferelden to the brutal societies of Saharan and Parvolin, where the Cune is law. Empires rise to glory or fall in ruin over the answers to essential questions like what happens after death and what causes the blight. Intelligence is asking why you exist. Orlesian Empire and Chantry founder Cordelius Draken once said, power is discovering the answer. So this is super cool. So this is going to kind of cover what the religions think about how we come about, what happens after we go, you know, the right ways to conduct oneself. So obviously, again, big section on Chantry as the majority. We've also got Elves, Tevinter, Imperial Chantry. Oh, here we're going to get the Schism again. We've kind of already learned about that, though. I've been talking about it already. The Stone, which is the Dwarven kind of religion. The Cune. Just kind of getting an idea of what we cover. Okay, yeah. A lot of this we've already kind of talked about, so this should help us save some time. Oh, thank you for the posture check, Lee. I'm going to stretch my back a bit, because I've been sitting weird looking at the book. I think I'm going to change. No! Ah! My camera almost fell over. Lee, what have you done? Lee, what have you done? It's all your fault, Lee. Lee! Oh my god. Oh, there we go. My legs hurt so much. I was sitting cross-legged too long and now my foot is numb. Okay. Okay. Alright, the Maker and the Chantry. Here we go, everybody. We know Chantry's the big boys. Lee, please! Chantry's the big boys. It's the majority. I see some similarities with Christianity with the Chantry, but it's not meant to be in any sort of defamating way or like in a rude way. This is just, again, this is me reconciling what I know and what I'm learning about from this lore. So I see a lot of similarities because it's a majority. They believe in like one guy as the higher power, the maker. They have a woman that's kind of the harbinger of the religion, Andraste. There's no Jesus equivalent, but like you get the idea. Like there is some similarities, I think. Yeah, okay, Chalky gets me. Yeah, we're gonna probably, like, I mean, we've already we get the idea. Here's some cool edicts. Their faith is rooted in 4 core principles. 1. Magic is corrupting influence in the world. 2. Humankind's sin of pride destroyed the Golden City and created the Darkspawn, terrible embodiments of that sin. 3. Andraste was the bride of the Maker, a prophet and a martyr whose ultimate sacrifice must be remembered and honored. And 4. Humankind has sinned and must seek penance to earn the Maker's forgiveness. When all peoples unite to praise the Maker, he will return to the world and make it a paradise. So this is kind of a tricky situation because part of their belief is that everyone has to believe it for it to work. But that's not how free choice works. So, a little bit tough there, Chantry. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to achieve that. So the rise and fall of Andraste. So there's this human woman that was actually born. Her name was Andraste. She was born in Ferelden. She is given a vision that she's like the Maker's disciple. She's like the Maker's bride in a way. And she takes this message and creates like an army to kind of spread the word of the Maker. Yeah, so she grew up with these visions from like an early age, it says. The Maker was a supreme being, the supreme being, who had abandoned the world and the people he created when they took worship of the old gods. So, what kind of religious figure is this that you're believing in? The Maker was like the all-powerful guy. People decided to believe in something else called the old gods, and so he had a tantrum and left. He was like, fine, I'm gonna abandon you guys if you don't want to believe in me. And their kind of main religious text is called the Chant of Light. The Maker emerged in the Chant of Light. The Maker emerged from his retreat after falling in love with Andraste and the beautiful song she sang for him. The Maker came to Andraste and offered to take her away from the flawed mortal world as his divine bride. Reluctant to leave her life and new husband Mafarath, she begged the Maker instead to return to his people and create a new paradise in Thedas. The Maker agreed to this only if Andraste convinced his people to destroy their false idols. To aid her in this task, the Maker promised to use his power against her enemies. Andraste thus became the Maker's betrothed. The Maker was like, leave. Also saying the zombies that come around every few centuries is because people are sinning is harsh. True. People must have sinned a lot before the 4th Blight because everyone almost died. Exactly, Marina, exactly. Yeah, the 1st Blight and the 4th Blight, so many people died. Okay, these are really cool. This is kind of like showing the progression of the Maker and Andraste. I'm just going to put the pointer on Chantry because that's what we're talking about. There we go. So, yeah, I guess this is like Andraste being born, or this is like the world of sin. Then you've got Andraste as a young child, and the Makers come to her with visions. Here she is with her husband Mafarath, and they kind of raise up an army to kind of spread the word of the Maker. And here is them kind of fighting in that war, kind of trying to spread the word. So she was kind of known as the prophet of the Maker. Yeah, and at the time, Tevinter believed in the old gods mainly. So this is really kind of where the Tevinter versus Chantry really like comes about at first. Tevinter had taken over a lot of the world at that point and preached the old gods. So then Andraste came along and tried to take back those lands. and say, oh, well, we've got this new religion with the Maker. You should believe that instead. And because these people had been oppressed, they were like, yeah, screw the religion of the oppressor. Let's believe this new one. Unfortunately, though, Mafarath, her husband, got jealous that Andraste was betrothed to the Maker, this deity. He was like, but you're married to me. She's like, yeah, well, I am, but like also I'm married to this guy who's like imaginary, quote unquote. He's a god. So Mafarath got jealous and he actually betrayed Andraste. So they made it all the way to Devinter with this army. And once they were there, they were about to win, basically. And Mafarath was so jealous that he sold Andraste out to Tevinter. They killed her, making her a martyr. And then later, the guy in Tevinter that oh my gosh, that scared me. The jump scare. What is the way, Lee? Are you saying betrayal is the way? I'm so confused. You're getting a heart. Thank you for the bits. That this is the way is gonna be really out of context a bit with what, because I'm talking about her like getting executed and like burnt at the stake, and you're like, this is the way. Oh no. Later though, Tevinter revealed that it was Mafarath that betrayed them. It wasn't that just Tevinter won. So actually, like the name Mafarath is now like ubiquitous with like someone who's a traitor. Like they're like, oh, like you don't want to be like Mafarath. But eventually, like they were able to collect her ashes and take them back to Ferelden. We've kind of talked about this before on the last stream. Mafarath took charge of the lands conquered in Andraste's name, ruled them for a better part of a decade. His support waned when he refused to go to war with Imperium to avenge his wife's death. So this is how it happened. So he sold his wife out to Tevinter. He ruled for like 10 years after that, and then people were like, you should go to war with Tevinter, they killed your wife. And he was like, nah, I'm good. And then they were like, wait a second, did you do this? Yeah, he's like the Judas of the Chantry. Very good, Chalky. Yeah, good analogy. And then the birth of the Chantry came about after that. It is written that the Maker once again abandoned his people after Andraste's execution. Andraste is said to have ascended to his side, where she continues to watch over Thedas. Yeah, so then later Cordelius Draken was the first emperor of Orlais. He made the Chantry eventually. And during the Second Blight, he used it to, like, say, like, oh, I think we need this at this point. Yeah, I think Andraste is, like, a good analogy for both, like, the Virgin Mary and Jesus kind of together, because she's this, like, female figure that's, like, tied closely to the Maker, like, God, basically. And then also, she gets sacrificed as a martyr, like Jesus did, so that kind of, to me, is, like, how that analogy works in my brain. Timeline-wise, we are in the Storm Age. Just some stuff about... Oh yeah, Divine Hortensia III names the Storm Age, foreseeing a growing storm of violence across Thedas. Fun times, fun times. Alright, let's see the rest of the tapestries. So here's Andraste getting betrayed. And then here's her getting burnt at the stake. It's not showing up here. How can I do the... kind of, if I just tilt it to avoid glare. So here's her getting burnt at the stake. Then she rises to join the Maker again. And then here is the desolate world post Andraste, post the Maker. Because the Maker has said, well, no, you killed my bride. Like, you guys are truly effed up. I'm abandoning you. Might even be Mafarath. I'm not sure. Yeah, and then the kind of, as I said, the text of the Chantry is the Chant of Light. Very, very long. It's kind of in poem form or song form. It's a very long holy book. A written copy can be found in every chantry, but because many Thedosians are illiterate, copies outside chantries are uncommon and only owned by the very rich. And for example, in like in masses, or like, you know, when they do like a religious kind of gathering, they usually don't cover the whole book. They usually will just cover sections, and then maybe like at special services they'll cover like more of the book. So it's like pretty impressive to be able to quote the whole book. My boy Cullen, the love of my life, he can chant. He can do the whole chant because he's very religious. Let's see. Exalted marches against the Kunari. Yeah, because the Kunari was taking over a bit earlier. They came and the rest of the world doesn't like them. So there's a bunch of fighting against the Kunari now in the Storm Age. Good times. Okay, the Chantry beliefs, just very quickly. Andraste taught that evil exists because of humankind's pride. For this reason, Thedas brought the Darkspawn upon itself. Yeah, so that's kind of what we mentioned. Like, you guys sinned, so this is why you now get taken over by zombies every few years, a few hundred years. Okay. The Chantry's interpretation of Andraste's teaching emphasizes death, guilt, and the differences among races and genders. Fun. So we've got fire, because Andraste went up in flames. Her sins cleansed as she died. Flame is now a symbol of purity in the Chantry. So every temple has a lit brazier that they keep alive at all times. In extreme cases, the faithful may undergo branding or even self-immolation. Fun. You've got penance, so it's similar to, I guess, Catholicism, where you have like the confession booths. Like they do penance a lot in the Chantry. Death. At death, the Chantry believes spirits of the virtuous rise to the side of the Maker. The spirits of the sinners are not so lucky, doomed to spend the afterlife wandering the Fade. The Chantry burn their dead, a reflection of Andraste's fate. The Exalted and Anointed. This is about the Exalted marches against the Elves, Kunari, and Tevinter. The faithful who give their lives to these holy wars earn a special place at the side of the Maker. Yeah, sure. Sure they do. And then magic. They believe it's a terrible gift, corrupted, and should be kind of controlled at all times. There was a bunch of Andraste's disciples, and a lot of these are like very prominent names. So you've got Hisarion, the Redeemed. So he ordered Andraste's execution, but later repented and kind of brought the truth out. Brona, Andraste's mother. Hector, a lord of the fortress of Navarra. When Malfrith betrayed Andraste, she was captured. Hector was murdered. Shartan was the leader of the elven slave rebellion. He and the other elves joined Andraste's cause. After she freed them, Justinia, a Tevinter slave and friend of Andraste. The first divine, yes, a lot of divines are named after Justinia. And Havard, this is the disciple that took her ashes back to Ferelden. Ooh, we've got another full spread, everybody. Look, it's so pretty. I'll try to reduce the glare on it. This is an example of a Chantry. I've got a big statue of Andraste there. What I like about Andraste is that she's not just like this woman in like robes, you know, just like nicely sitting there praying. She was the leader of a war. So she's always like depicted in like armor with swords and stuff. And I think that's really cool. You know, G, you are very well spoken. Such an easy listen this has been. You could do lots of these sorts of streams. Thank you, Lee. I mean, I guess it's my teacher abilities, right? Because I am a teacher. So you have to learn how to be succinct and not do lots of like, so what was I talking about? Like you have to just be like bing bang boom, summary of the information, yada do. I really like this full cover art though. Even though I'm not religious, I really like how churches look. I think they're really cool. All right. But yeah, gender, their thoughts on gender. Gender roles are clearly defined. Women are the pure sex. Let's go, everybody. Women are the pure sex. Hear that, Lee? Women are purer than men in the Chantry. Only women can be priests. Only women can be divine. So men can join the Chantry and be brothers in the Chantry, like monks basically, but they can only rise to a certain level. After that, it's only women that can rise farther. So take that, reverse glass ceiling. And then non-humans. The Chantry began and has continued to be. This is the way. Kira leaves. Teehee. Yeah, so the Chantry is very human based. They don't like the other races that much. The elves have their false pantheon of idols. The dwarves worship themselves. The Kunari, worst of all, actively crushing worship of the Maker. So yeah, safe to say they don't really like the others. These are really cool images as well. Here are more images of they kind of depicted Andraste's battle. Thank you, Gonzi, for the 100 bits. I've got to come up with a special raccoon for 100 bits and up, because right now I just have the chewing raccoon for, like, anything not set. But I feel like if you go to 100 or more, you should get a special raccoon. I've got to do that. Oh, sorry. Hiccup. Alright, yeah, so this is kind of another way to depict Andraste's life and what she accomplished. And the chanting hierarchy, the divine is like the top. Then you got grand clerics, mothers, brothers and sisters, chanters, Templar order, seekers. Seekers should not be below though. Yeah, they're like the special FBI. Yeah, elven religion now. So the elves have what's called a pantheon. As we remember from last time, the elves used to be immortal, and when humans came along, the elves started to lose their ability of immortality. So there's a lot of contention there between elves and humans, and of course, like, the elven culture was almost wiped out by humans' exalted marches. So there's lots of no feelings there. But yeah, they have a pantheon. According to them, the world was created by Mythal, goddess of motherhood, justice, and protection, and Elgarnon, god of fatherhood and vengeance. Their eldest children are remembered as twin brothers. Falandin was the friend of the dead who guided elders on journeys of enlightenment in their long sleep and later carried them beyond the veil in death. His brother Dirthamen gave the elves the gift of knowledge and taught them the value of loyalty and faith in humanity. There was also their daughter Andruil, goddess of the hunt, who watched over animals and taught the elves to respect them. Andruil's godly sister Silace, the hearthkeeper, stayed home to sing and make art, while wild Andruil frolicked. She is credited with teaching the elves to use fire, heal with herbs and magic, and spin fibers to make thread and rope. Their brother, the god of craft June, used Silace's lessons to teach the elves to fashion bows for hunting Andruil's gifts. Andruil's influence was wide, and she had many followers. Among them was Gilanain, an elf chosen by Andruil to rise to a godly rank. Oh, don't tip over. As mother of the Hala for her devotion to the animals. So elven religion is very similar to kind of Greek and Roman mythology, I would say. You've got this pantheon of gods. They're kind of responsible for different areas, and a lot of them are related. Like, they're kind of like a big family of gods. But there are some that were elevated to god status, similar to how you have demigods that became gods after, like how Dionysus was a demigod, but was raised to the status of god after. Yeah. I'm just checking the timeline again, sorry. Oh yeah, 760 Storm, Kirkwall City Guard was founded. Fun. That's kind of like the police system in Kirkwall. There's just a lot of stuff about exalted marches and fighting with Kunari. That's kind of all that's really going on right now in the timeline. It's Storm Age. So Elven Pantheon, as we said, Andruil, Dirthamen, Elgarnon, Falandin, Fenharel. Fenharel, we know, the Dreadwolf trickster god. Gilanain, June, Mythal, and Silace. So that's kind of the main pantheon. Oh yeah, this is another thing. So in Ferelden, there's some tribes, some kind of border tribes that don't believe in the chantry. They believe in something called the Lady of the Skies. So, like the Avar people, they have a very different religion. I might actually just read this out because I'm not really as versed on the Avar, so I can't really explain it. My father died with honor, so we gave him to the sky. My husband and I led the procession to the peaks, singing. With a knife and hammer, we scoured the flesh and split the bones. As we left, I saw the carrion crows descending to carry my father home in peace. I knew the Lady of the Sky smiled. Our tribe has never failed to do the lady honor. The flights of her birds reveal the future of our shaman. We sacrifice wolves upon her altars. In return, she sends prize game in the hunt and victory in war. When a couple is bound together by the sacred knots, it is the lady's hymn we sing. We of Ar never leave the ice and stone. We never bowed to the Kalanhad as the Alamari did, nor shall we be enslaved by the words of their new prophet. We are constant as the sky, and from us our lady shall have her due. So the Avar and some of the kind of more tribal entities in Ferelden, they are kind of like Norse mythology vibes. Yeah. So chantry, kind of Christianity based vibes. Elves, kind of Roman Greek mythology sort of vibe. And then the Avar and the chastened people of Ferelden are kind of like Norse mythology vibes. That's kind of what we got so far. So the Dalish religion, the elves, we're back to the elves again. Oh, I don't know if you can see actually in this picture. I'm gonna turn the ring light on again. Hopefully move it so you can't see it with glare. Do you see that? The tree is making the shape of a person. I think this is meant to be depicting Mythal. Hopefully that's coming through okay. I'm gonna try and make it a bit closer. Right here. I think this is depicting Mythal, the kind of elven goddess that created everything. Yeah, I really like that art. Okay, turn that off again. Yeah, so in the Dalish religion, the elven religion again, this pantheon of gods warred endlessly with gods of terror, malice, spite, and pestilence known as the Forgotten Ones. So you have the elven pantheon, which is good gods, and you had kind of this other group called the Forgotten Ones, which were kind of gods of less savory things. And then in the middle you had Fen'Harel, the god of tricks, the Dread Wolf, kind of like a Loki vibe, where he's kind of like an anti-hero. He's kind of in between, dealing from both sides. The Dalish believe Fen'Harel conspired to lock away both the good and evil gods to have that kind of elven religion for himself. So I'm just fixing the camera. Yeah, so that's kind of the reason why, like, a lot of the elves believe that today, like in the games, there's no evidence of elven gods like coming about because they've all been locked away in the Fade. And the kind of premise of Veilguard is that Fen'Harel is trying to tear down the Fade to bring back the gods because he wants to like restore what was lost. Hashtag make Thedas great again. Yeah. That's kind of the idea. I'm not as versed on the elven gods and stuff, unfortunately, because I've never really like played them in the games. I usually play a human. So I know about like the Chantry and stuff better. Alright, Tevinter. Tevinter believes in something called the Old Gods. The Old Gods were a set of 7 dragon deities worshipped by the majority of humans before the Chantry. So this is why the Maker threw his tantrum, because they were worshipping these old gods, these dragon gods, instead of him. What a baby, honestly. What a big baby. Many elves were enslaved by the Imperium, and so they were forced to worship these old gods instead of their own elven pantheon. 2 main factors contributed to the decline of old god worship: the rise of the blights, blamed on the old gods that awakened as blighted archdemons, and the spread of the Chantry. So, yeah, basically how the blights come about, we're going to learn about this, but the blights come about because the dragon of an old god, like the dragon body of an old god, gets corrupted and becomes an archdemon. And that lets the darkspawn rise up, and what happens with blights. So it's not a very good thing for a religion to have these gods be corrupted and be the cause of something that like kills lots and lots of people and causes wars for hundreds of years. So that's kind of why they don't really worship them anymore. The history of it all is that there was magisters in Tevinter. If we remember the kind of hierarchy of Tevinter's culture, magisters are kind of noble people that they hold seats in the parliament, basically. And they're obviously magic users. You can't be that high up ranking if you're not a magic user. So this is kind of like the old version of that. Yeah, so before magisters and in the unified Imperium, before all that, we had the Naromenian people that landed in Thedas. And these people, some of them were able to get magic from the old gods, and they were called dreamers. They had this vision of a realm of gods, and they wanted to go there to see it in person. We know it now as the Fade, and like the Maker's Palace in the Fade, but back then obviously they didn't know that. So they, if you can see the picture in the bottom here, they committed like lots and lots of blood magic and sacrifices and rituals to enter the Fade and to see this kind of palace, this place of the gods for themselves. If I'm remembering right. Let me just see. Yeah, so they kind of learned magic from the gods. From the old gods, excuse me. Here's an example of an old god. Look at him. Mo, you'll like the old gods. Look at him. He's a big dragon. I'll try to hold it up a bit higher so you can see. I'm just going to hold down the table so it doesn't tip over. Look at him. I bet Mo would worship this old god. He's just a little boy. He's just a little dragon boy. This god actually is depicting, this was the old god of the 5th Blight. We'll go over the gods in a second. I just want to finish up this section on the Dreamers. Worship of the 7 gods was the religion of the Imperium for hundreds of years. So this was kind of the major religion at the time, because Tevinter had taken over a lot of the world, so a lot of the world believed in this. The organized worship of the old gods was at its highest prior to the First Blight, when it was written that Dumont himself arose from his prison as the first archdemon. While the Chantry insists that Darkspawn created the first archdemon, some ancient lore states that Dumont created the first Darkspawn and led them against Thedas. Either way, old god faithful were betrayed to discover one of their deities could turn against them. Could you imagine that? You worship these dragon boys, and then they release a blight on you, and you're like, well, dang, I believed in you for nothing. Lee wants to give dreamies to the old god. Yes, I will read out the old gods in a second. I just kind of want to wrap up this thing. So yeah, these dreamers kind of dared to breach the place of the gods, and that's what the Chantry teaches is why the blights come about. Yeah, so let's look at the 7 old gods. We have Andoral, dragon of slaves, Dumont, dragon of silence, Lusakan, dragon of night, Razikale, dragon of mystery, Toth, dragon of fire, Urthemiel, dragon of beauty, and Zazikel, dragon of freedom. So this one is of Urthemiel, dragon of beauty. And I think we can all agree that is 100% a dragon of beauty right there. Lovely. We're in the Blessed Age in the timeline. Yeah, the end of the war with the Qunari and the birth of twin boys to Emperor Etienne I of Orlais ushered in the Blessed Age. I don't know if it was all that blessed, but I guess if you've had twins, sure, you can name the next 100 years blessed. Yeah. So I'm trying to remember, I think in the Blight chapter coming up, the next chapter is on, oh no, the next chapter is the Fade. So I don't know if we'll make it to the Blight today. I was thinking in the Blight chapter, though, we learn which old gods have already been corrupted into archdemons. So we know that of these 7, 5 have already been corrupted and killed. So there's still another 2. The question is, though, that I'm wondering about, is if there's another 2 blights, that's all the 7 old gods accounted for. Is that the end of blights? Will another one happen? What if the gods come back? You know, like that's something I'm really curious about. Yeah, we've already kind of talked about the Imperial Chantry. I don't know if we need to go that much more into it, because we already know they split from the Chantry, and they want to celebrate magic, and they want a male figurehead rather than a female. So that's kind of the idea. I think the schism came about as well, not only from that, but because of this business with Andraste. So we've learned that Tevinter is the ones that executed Andraste. And I think that did not help things with the Chantry and Orlais. So it was an exalted state. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. I don't know if we need to go super far into this. There's lots of stuff about Hesarian, the guy that ordered Andraste's execution and later repented. I think this is also kind of depicting the switch over from old gods to the imperial chantry, the Tevinter's version of the chantry. So that's kind of that. And yeah, this details the schism, which we've already talked about a lot. I like this art a lot. Look at this, kind of almost like monochrome. During the Tevinter Transfiguration, temples of the old gods were repurposed as schools for mages. So at this time, yeah, there was a big reform, not only with making their own version of the chantry, but also just getting rid of the idea of the old gods. They're like, okay, we're done with that. They're being corrupted. They're not helping us. So we're kind of doing away with that. Like old temples for old gods are going to be repurposed for something new, for something better. Yeah, and I think that's the idea. We'll just look at the pictures of it. A statuary portrays various chantry disciples and martyrs. So they're quite gruesome with their art. Sorry, there's a lot of glare. And then here, as I said earlier, men can rise higher in the imperial chantry than they can in the regular chantry. And this is the Archon Hessarian. So he's kind of like become a saint in the imperial chantry because, yeah, he originally betrayed Andraste, but then he later regretted it. Yeah, I agree, Mo. I really like this with the pop of red of the sun. I really like that. Imperial Chantry today. Same, yeah, like, so while most teachings are the same as the regular Chantry, all issues with magic have been dropped, and male priests are quite prevalent. Both men and women serve all levels of Tevinter clergy, though the majority of divines have been men. So that's, if you remember, that's called the Black Divine. Although all chantries in Thedas have an eternal flame which is lit and kept burning by magic, in the Imperium, a religious holiday and ceremony mark the day a spell is cast to renew the flame. So if you remember from the chantry, fire is a really big symbol of like cleansing, and like that's how Andraste was cleansed of her sins and rised from death to join the Maker. So each temple of the chantry has a eternal flame basically, but Tevinter does a little bit more. They celebrate putting out the flame and then casting a new one to kind of renew things. Which is fine, like it's just a different way to look at it, really. Yeah, okay, dwarves. So dwarves believe in the stone. I mean, logical, right? They're surrounded by it. So they're kind of like, oh, it's just us down here with a bunch of stone. So that's kind of all we really know. So they do not believe in a supreme higher being or pantheon. They instead practice a form of living ancestor worship by way of naming paragons, while also maintaining a close connection to, quote-unquote, the stone that surrounds them. So we've kind of talked about paragons a little bit as well. Paragons are like, kind of like a sainthood in a way. It's like you are a dwarf that has done something really impactful for the community. You've created a new technology. You've changed something politically. You get named a paragon, kind of a living ancestor. They are revered almost like gods in a way. So if a dwarf sees an old statue of a paragon, they like go down and are like, oh my gosh, like they're revered by it. They revere them, sorry. And like if you try to like damage it, they'll like get really mad because it's like their form of gods basically. Yeah, so most dwarves live their whole lives in the stone. They forge their home from her. They are protected by her. They claim to actually come from her, even calling themselves the stone's children. When the dwarves die, they say they return to the stone. While those above ground may burn their dead or send them out to sea, deceased dwarves are buried. Paragons and nobility are typically interred with ornate crypts, while the remains of common dwarves are encased within stone cairns. Failing that, they are buried in the dirt, though it is never ideal. A dwarf who has achieved much, a great warrior, a renowned craftsman, or especially a paragon, is said to strengthen the stone, while those who have shamed their clans are said to weaken her. A caseless or disgraced dwarf may be outright rejected by her. So they really, really place importance on the stone as like an entity. And when you die, if you were a good person, you are improving the stone. I like the kind of architecture of their statues. Look at this guy with this hammer above his head. This is a paragon, but he's like, yeah, like he's holding this hammer above. I like it. Some paragons are known better than others. Like it depends on what they did and how long they were talked about. And obviously, as Dwarven culture has kind of reduced, like now we only really have Orzammar as a taig, where like a city where dwarves live. Even Cal Shirok, the other kind of surviving one, has been most likely lost. These kind of legends about the Paragons die out a little bit as well. And we've got the Qun. There was a time where the Kossith race prayed to animist gods. They were wild then, devoted to a chaos that kept them from greatness. Then came Ashkari Koslin, a great thinker whose teachings molded the Kossith into the godless, disciplined Qunari. Their guide now is the Qun, a philosophical test Koslin penned. At the book's heart, there are two concepts. Mastery, Iskun. To know something is to understand it, to understand why it is, what it is, as well as what it is not. To know something is to possess the power to master it, and only in the lack of knowing lies weakness. And the second concept is balance, Akun. To exist without balance is to fall, to break, to yield. Only with balance can true stillness be achieved. When one is still, one is free to listen and know, in knowing becoming strong. With strength become steel, and in steel endure. So I really think the Qun pulls concepts from both the Quran, from Muslim religion, and also like some vibes of Buddhism as well, because of these two concepts, mastery and balance. Again, I'm making a pretty general sweep, like a big sweeping generalization there. But again, this is just like, oh, that kind of reminds me a lot of that a little bit. Not necessarily saying that like, oh, this is bad or this is good. Just like some ideas, I think, remind me of things from like our own society. Yeah. So it's like the Qunari, as we said, they don't really go by their name of the race. They go by, like, if you believe in the Qun, you are Qunari, no matter your race. If you're a human, Kossith, a dwarf, whatever, you all are Qunari from that point on, that you decide to believe in it. And that the Qun is like your way of life. You follow this book and this teaching. And so once they kind of switched to the Qun, they kind of got rid of their old religion, the animist religion. And this one is very like much like there's no individual freedoms. Like it's very much like you devote yourself for the good of all, and you devote yourself to the role that will best help all. So there's no even like people that are like Qunari don't even have names. They have job titles basically, which is like really interesting. Yeah, and that's kind of the culture going in. Like they do have a language, and like they try to. A lot of people that are Qunari do not even know like the common tongue. They know Kunlaut, their own language, so they're almost like isolated in a way because of the this kind of language barrier. Yeah, so every Qunari has a role under the Qun, and the Qunari are raised to play the role expected for them. They may become warriors, bringing the laws of the Qun to the boss by... Bringing the laws of the Qun to the boss by force. Others may research ways to better society. Still others will raise the Qun's children. So that's kind of what I meant about like they have job titles. Like they're like giving themselves to the betterment of their community. The Qunari view their whole society as a single creature, a living entity whose health and well-being are the responsibility of all. Yeah. So rather than an individualist mindset, they are a collective mindset. Their language, Kunlaut, is steeped in metaphor and assigns multiple meanings to words. The word for mind also means worker. The word for body also means army. As far as the Qunari are concerned, a symbol and its signifier are the same thing. Because of this, artists are part of the priesthood. Their role is considered to be one of research, discovering things that were not already apparent, rather than making things new. And there's no real currency in Qunari society. Merchants kind of trade more so than buy and sell. Yeah, and the Qunari don't consider trading as a way to obtain goods. It's more to like learn more about those who do not accept the Qun and like see if there's ways that they can convert more people. There are no family units in Kunari society. They don't even they don't marry or choose their own partners. It's more of like a breeding thing. Like you just need to make more children. A powerful class of female priests called Tamasrans arrange and improves conception. They are also in charge of raising the children. So this is a really important faction in the Kunari culture. Because obviously the next generation is important. So yeah, your role is officially assigned at 12 years old. They use tests, oral and physical, to determine what the children will be most useful in, like what they can help contribute. That reminds me a lot of what's that book? Oh my gosh, City of Embers. Has anyone ever read City of Embers? Where like the children are assigned jobs. They're in this like underground city, and all the kids are assigned jobs, and it's like that one that was by lot, not by what they're actually good at. But that kind of reminds me of that. Then we have gender roles. They don't really deem one gender like better than the other. It's just they just believe that each gender has strengths and weaknesses, so they try to like put people in their strengths rather than in their weaknesses. Most roles are gender specific, again based on these like kind of inherent strengths. But the odd, rare exception is made. A male Kunari will farm if he must, just as a female Kunari will fight. So, yeah, they're definitely like women are more in like the planning kind of caregiving roles, but it's just because they believe that they're better at them. And again, if you're doing these tests as kids, obviously if you come across a girl Kunari that it's just better, showing they're better at fighting, obviously you're not going to put them in a child caring role. You're going to put them as a fighter. Yeah. We've talked about the Sarabas, which is the Coon's answer to magic. They do not treat them well at all. The Triumvirate is kind of like the three-headed leadership of the Coon. So Aragena is the head worker. The Arakoon is the head of priesthood. And the Arashok is the head of the military. We know Arashok from Dragon Age 2. The Arashok, here's a picture of an Arashok. Scary guy. Yeah, Chalky's saying they have a caste system. I'm never sure how to pronounce that word. Okay, and then we have something really cool called the Secret Police, the Ben Hassarath. In Dragon Age Inquisition, there's a character that it's in your companion party, and he's a Ben Hassarath. So yeah, they're like the kind of they're like spies, secret police. A lot of them will venture outside of Kunari society to kind of get info on others. So the Kunari, though, find the Ben Hassarath just as like another faction. It's like, yeah, this is another job that needs being done. While like others outside of the Kun are like, oh no, we hate these guys. Yeah. They usually don't kill their prisoners. Instead of death, prisoners are put to work in labor camps and taught the way of the Kun. So that's why like they fear them, because if a Ben Hassarath comes along, people are getting kidnapped and either converted to the Kun or like forced to work in labor camps. The Ben Hassarath are also in charge of re-education. So if you remember last stream, we talked about the Kunari re-education, where quote unquote re-education, where they're like converting. If people resist converting to the Kun, they get re-educated, and then if that fails, they go to these labor camps. Oh, it's a bit naughty. It's a bit naughty. Okay, and then we've also got a group of people that refuse the Kun. They lived under the Kun, and then at some point they rejected it, so they left. These are called Talvashoth. They are traitors in the eyes of the Kunari, and they frequently fight with the Kunari. So we've come across a few Talvashoth in the various games. The Talvashoth stick together. Most are Kosith, the horned creatures, this race of people. But unfortunately, right, because like most people will just see them, they see the horns, and they're like, oh, you're a Kunari, we don't like you, we don't want to deal with you. It means that Talvashoth are forced to find a lot of mercenary, unsavory work, because, yeah, neither side really wants them at that point. And then Talvashoth means the true great ones. It's a name they gave themselves. So I really like that. Claiming in their language, claiming that they're like, yeah, no, we're okay. We're not traitors. We are the true great ones. Dun, 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 dun. How are we? Oh my gosh, 2 hours. 2 hours has flown by. I don't know about you guys. I'm assuming most people are just chilling, like podcast style. But wow, 2 hours. I don't think we're gonna get through the Blight. I'm not even sure. Can we get through all the Fade? How long is the Fade? Ooh. What is it? Fade. 120, 130 to 143. 13 pages. Oh, but it's a really, really, really dense topic. What to do, chat? What to do? I mean, there are some just, like, you can see the nice pictures here. Rage Demon. Yeah, so we've got to talk about the geography of the Fade and, like, what it's like physically. We've got to talk about spirits and demons. Another full spread. Ooh, a wisp. A wisp, a spirit. I like the art so much. We've got to talk about the Veil. Oh, God, and the Black City. Fun. Okay. Maybe stream 3. Could do. Snack time. Thanks, Lee. Everyone get a snack. Get a snack. I haven't even had dinner yet. I did eat a lot more before dance today so that I wouldn't be starving for the stream. I'm just checking out the timeline, see if there's anything interesting. I keep forgetting to look at it.
All right.
Oh, there was a lot. Okay, yeah, so
to the face of Georgia. It's a glorious day to kill Georgia.
Thanks, Lee. I saw Soul earlier say that was stuck in his head at work, and you're welcome. Yeah, so Blessed Age. Oh yeah, Blessed Age. Kirkwall citizens take back the city for themselves. That's nice. Oh yeah, the in 824 Blessed, Orlais takes over Ferelden again, and I think this time they succeed. Yeah, Ferelden King Vandarin Terran. I don't remember how do you say Alistair's last name again? Is killed by Orlesian invaders. Calenhad's sword, Nematos, is lost. Young King Brandel Vanadrin's son is unable to unite the country beneath him, and Ferelden is mired in blood and battle. So this is kind of leading up to the first novel, The Stolen Throne, that I showed you guys. This is when they get taken over. Yeah. Ferelden nobility continue a guerrilla warfare against the occupying Orlesians, led by Brandel's daughter Moira, the rebel king. So we know Moira was Merrick's mom. So King Brandel was his grandfather. So yeah, the Orlesian occupation took a grandfather, a mother, and a son to 3 generations to fight back. Fun. The Kunari retake Saharan. Oh yeah, they're always fighting back and forth about Saharan. War between Navarre and Orlais. So this Blessed Age, lots of fighting and occupation going on in this Blessed Age. I think this is a misnomer. Yeah, and then 896 Blessed. Queen Moira is assassinated. Orlesian forces leverage her death to tighten their grip on Ferelden. Her son Merrick escapes. So that is the plot. That's the beginning of the Stolen Throne novel. Since the bit has been added, he hasn't been... Yeah, Liam hasn't come once. What a stinker. Okay, I want to show the next few novels. Just for funsies. So first we've got the third novel we get is Asunder. I think Illusion stated that we learn a lot about the We learn a lot about the mages and Templars and like the mages political factions in this one. So I'm excited to learn about that one. Oh, we've got a B99 quote. It's been a while. The English language cannot fully capture the depth and complexity of my thoughts, so I'm incorporating emojis into my speech to better express myself. Winky face. We love Gina. We love Gina. We've also got The Masked Empire. This is novel number 4. This one is about Empress Celine becoming the Empress of Orlais, obviously. So she was next in line for the throne, but she was quite young, so I think she had to like fight her way to it, like, but not just like physically fight, politically. These characters come up. Empress Celine, Grand Duke Gaspard, and Briella are 3 very pivotal characters in one of Inquisition's missions. And then Last Flight. This one I'm assuming is about Grey Wardens because you've got Griffins here. And Grey Warden. Look at him. He's shooting a little fire arrow. A Templar Order. Elf Mage Valia joins a caravan to Weishaupt. So yeah, this is lots about the Grey Wardens. Yeah, so those are the 3 novels. And then she was like 16. Yeah, you're right. And then very, very important for Veilguard coming up will be Tevinter Knights. I think Marina also said with this one is that we learn about a lot of the companions from this. Not all of them, but some of them. So this one's like these are like novels, like where the start, middle, and end. The Tevinter Knights, I think, is short stories. So, and the Tevinter Knights is a group of different writers rather than one singular writer. So let's see. Yeah, 3 Trees to Midnight is one story, and then Callback is another story. And I'm excited to read all these though. Harold had a plan. Yeah, and then, ooh, might as well. Chat, how are we feeling? Are we feeling like we could do one more chapter? Because obviously you guys know I'm a night owl. It's 12:12 my time, but that's not bedtime yet for me. So I could keep going. But let me know. We're going to show the graphic novels in the meantime. So this is the first 5 graphic novels for Dragon Age. One more chapter, says Zarek. Not gonna lie, very sleepy, says Chalky. So here is the first collection of the first 5 graphic novels. Lots of characters we know, lots we don't know. I haven't read this yet either. Lee, look. Naughty business. Oh my gosh, she's in a towel too. What is happening? Oh my gosh. I've been in and out of the stream. No problem. The VOD's always there if you're interested about something particular. Oh, nothing happens. Lee, you're safe. Yeah, so this is the first 5 graphic novels. I have not read these yet, so I'm looking forward to those. There's kind of, yeah, like I think it's 2 or 3 kind of different stories. So there'll be like, again, kind of short stories in here. Lee, why do you always use the wrong one? And then here we've got The Wraiths of Tevinter. This is another graphic novel set. It's so big that I have to show it sideways. So this is a set containing... which stories again? The Blue Wraith. Let me see, is there a table of contents? Hi, Reddit Crash, welcome in. The disappointment. Yeah, I wanted naughty business. Yeah, so The Wraiths of Tevinter, which stories is it about? Like, this one has a really, again, it's a group of people, but look at the art style. Oops. Look at the art style. Isn't that really cool? The question is, what was the wrong one? You trying to use the command because you can never use the right one. So again, like really, really cool art style. Oh yeah, it's so fresh. I haven't even opened it. I haven't even scrolled through this one. I don't really know much about this. Obviously, it's to do with Tevinter. But yeah, that's the collection that I have, and obviously the World of Thedas books. Yeah, welcome in, Riddy. We're just debating whether to do one more chapter for this stream. Does graphic novels remind me of the Mass Effect comment? Yeah, it could be the similar vibe. I'm going to start off controversial. I've not played any Dragon Age. Well, I hope maybe I can make it interesting to you. Virgo and Tia, they're crows. Oh, nice. Yeah, no, there's people that have varying Dragon Age knowledge, like Chocobo Breeder and Illusion in the chat. They are, and Dan Law are big Dragon Age fans, along with me. Oh, Viago, not Virgo. And then there's other people that have like not really played anything or kind of played a game here and there. So we've got a big range here. No worries. Like I think I'm breaking things down in a way that's digestible for non-fans. Yeah, Lee's the biggest fan. I'm full naming you Chalky because Riddy Crash. Well, I guess Riddy Crash knows you, Chalky. I wasn't thinking. You would know them from Buddy Game streams as well. I just decided to full name. They have the cat stare. That's my new emote. Okay, I've decided. We're gonna do one more chapter because Ridder Crash is here. And I want you to see a little bit of the book. I recognize many of the names. Yes, yeah, a lot of Buddy Games community is in here. Can I get one more Brooklyn Nine-Nine quote before we start? I want another one to read out first. Yeah, we're gonna cover the Fade, which is kind of like a mix between the no, it's not even the afterlife. It's just this place where ghosts and spirits and demons live. Tiny Terry loves his pickles. If I died, turn my tweets into a book. Good quotes, good quotes. Womble, do one more. It's on like a 15-second timer, that's why. So that people don't spam it too much. Womble, do one more quote. Quick, go, before we start. There we go. Hi, Gina Delenetti, the human form of the 100 emoji. What is this Buddy Games you seek of? Oh, you know what Buddy Games is, Gons. Okay. We're getting close to the timeline as well. We're getting close to like current age in like the current Dragon Age. Oh, for me they came split up. Oh, because you're a mod, Kira, that's why. It's because you're a mod, Kira. You cheated. It's the magic world, but off from the normal world via a wall called the Veil. Yes. Chalky, there we go. Stream done. You've explained the thing in one sentence. Oh, I sounded like Gina. Oh, that's a compliment. Thank you. I love Gina, so... Alright, Chapter 6, The Fade. The Fade is an otherworldly realm of great power and mystery, a wellspring of magic, and to some, the source of creation. They say you enter this kingdom of spirits when you sleep, as well as when you die, and that a corruption at its heart set in motion the blight. So this is the art of the Fade will be very like messed up and weird like this, because it's very like otherworld. Kind of like the mirror dimension. Same with me in camp last time. I did it first and ignored my... Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I set it to like 15 seconds, so maybe it's just like 1 millisecond difference or something. Okay, yeah, so the Fade is this place where spirits live. Evil and good. Like, all spirits live here. The spirits are basically like one-track minded. So you'll have spirits of compassion, spirits of... like vengeance, spirits of justice, like, and then you'll have like the demons with the more kind of 7 sins of like lust, rage, pride, and so on. So like, yeah, if you know about the 7 deadly sins, you know pretty well the different demons. So as we said, people with the capacity to dream enter the Fade, but they don't see the Fade looking like this kind of haunted reality. People without the ability of magic will just see, like, they'll be having a dream. And spirits will come in and demons will come in and try to possess sometimes, but, like, most of the time it's just a dream. But when you have mana and the ability to use magic, you'll usually see the Fade a bit differently. And some people even get the ability to, like, walk through the Fade and, like, control it and actually, like, travel through it, rather than just be, like, influenced by it. Yeah, and so we mentioned, right, with when mages are taken to the circle, their prison, basically, they have to go through something called a harrowing. And that's entering the Fade lucid. And so, as we mentioned, that's a really, really big risk. They're risking possession doing that. But if they survive it, then they're able to kind of control their magic better. Yeah, when you enter the Fade, you do so in mind only, and it's nearly impossible for any person to physically set foot there. Only a group of ancient Tevinter magisters who was famously able to accomplish the feat, and only by invoking blood magic of an unimaginable power. The act was set to spur the blight. So that was back here when we were looking at this blood ritual. These are the magisters that were able to break through the veil, the kind of curtain between reality and the Fade, and enter physically in the Fade. We also know that the Inquisitor in Inquisition was able to go through the Fade, but that was because they had something that allowed them to create portals to the Fade. Gee, please fix the timer. Why? What happened? What did I do? Demons all start out as spirits, Chalky says, but they get more extreme over time. So a spirit of compassion, for example, can turn into a demon of lust. Yeah. Yeah, Chalky's the Fade lady. You know more about it than me. The Fade is not really my area of expertise. Or a spirit of justice can turn into a demon of rage. So Scully's chat. Holy. Scully's chat seems very tame to me. Oh, Wumble. That was really funny. Okay, so geography and travel. Accounts of the Fade in its raw form describe a twisted, frightening world. So as you can see, this kind of depicts like what the Fade actually looks like. You can also see it if I turn off this kind of background I have. Let me use the rack pointer. So you see this kind of wallpaper, this kind of messed up black rock, stormy looking place. This is kind of what the Fade looks like. Put my camera back. Who is this Scully you speak of? Oh, Gonzi. So when someone is dreaming, though, the Fade will shape to something like the waking world, mimicking reality. Very like what dreamers and lucid visitors alike see as a skewed version of reality, built to scale of the memories attached to real places. So very, very few people see it like this messed up, stormy kind of nightmare. They mostly see it like as a slightly off reality. And then they have smaller realms depending on the influences of spirits. So there's realms of fear, there's realms of pain, realms of like nightmares, like similar to kind of the areas of the underworld, I guess, in Greek mythology. Like you have areas that are like specific to certain things. I'm just checking out the timeline again. Oh yeah, so oh yeah, in 899, Merrick is presumed dead. Yeah, this is kind of now it's depicting the Stolen Throne, the first novel. And then dragons are sighted for the first time after they were assumed extinct. So the Dragon Age is named. Dun da da da. If we just tilt the camera, here it says. Oh my god, how can I tilt the camera like this? Here it says no, do the thing. There we go. Here, this bottom part is now we're in the Dragon Age in the timeline. Anyway. See my pajama pants. No biggie. Okay. What else about the Fade? If one is to travel in the Fade by any means other than foot, it must be with the aid of a spirit. So usually you can't travel through it, like you need someone to kind of help you. Oh yeah, shout out to Kevin Scully. I love how it says it's presumed you actually play that bit in one of the Dragon Age 1 game. Yeah. Nat did the Fade quest in Inquisition yesterday. I was watching her play. Nice! Yeah, that's a cool mission in Inquisition. Alright, visitors of the Fade may encounter dreamers. It's also possible for dreamers to interact with other dreamers in the same realm, but they will often not remember context. So people can have a dream together and encounter other people, but then they don't remember when they wake up. That's really interesting. Yeah. Ooh, we've got a full spread. Look at it. The Fade is in constant flux, so it's constantly changing and mimicking and shaping itself based on who's there. A spirit shapes its realm by mimicking the pieces of life it sees through the eyes of dreamers. So you'll see lots of bits floating around. People will be kind of standing upside down. Like there's no concept of like gravity and stuff because it's constantly moving and shifting. Oh, yeah, this picture is so good, the Rage Demon. Mo, you'll like this one if you're still here. Spirits and demons, here we go. Spirits are creatures native to the Fade. These powerful beings take the form of virtues or demonic sins. Don't fall, camera. As we've kind of said already. So you've got like justice, you know, compassion, and then you've got the demons that are like the 7 deadly sins. Fade spirits shift the Fade's appearance, dimension, and nearly every sensory aspect of the realm at their leisure. When spirits encounter a visitor, most can't help but mine the visitor's mind for their thoughts and memories and may use these to shape the visitor's perceptions and trick them into thinking their dreams are reality. So there's lots of trickery and bribery and things like that and accessing the mind going on in the Fade. Like the Fade is quite a dangerous place for most people. Yeah. A spirit with a purpose does its all to fulfill that purpose. A hunger demon, for instance, will do anything within its power to feed. So these beings are one-track mind, all-consuming in their designated thought or feeling or sensation. And they will do everything in their power to achieve that. So that's why Anders, the character in Dragon Age 2, being kind of possessed by a spirit of justice, turned out the way it did with him blowing up a church, because this spirit all consumed him with justice, and we all know justice can be very violent depending on the person, like Batman, justice for Gotham. And then yeah, here's an example of a rage demon. I really like this art. I really like the rage demons, they're really cool. Oh, in the timeline, Kaelin. Yeah, so Merrick won the war in the end. And then Rowan and Merrick birthed a son, Kaelin. Oh, and then Selene, the future Empress of Relay, was born. And then Queen Rowan of Ferelden dies. Sad. King Merrick allows and then 2 years later, King Merrick allows the Grey Wardens to return to Ferelden. So now we're getting into the plot of the second book, the Calling, the one I'm reading now. That happens in 910 Dragon. And then, a young female sniff named Bronca is made Paragon. So we know Bronca. If you know the games, you know Bronca. Ooh, another. We're eating good this chapter with pictures. Mo, did you see the Rage Demon? I thought you would like that. And then yeah, here's another view of what the Fade kind of looks like. Mages entering the Fade on a regular basis generally become comfortable enough to reliably find and communicate with other visitors. So you have people like Solus in one of your companions in Inquisition, like actively trying to enter the Fade and getting so comfortable with it that you can travel around and stuff. And another picture of the Fade. They're really like showing us what the Fade looks like. Lots of green with the Fade. There's a great hierarchy of spirits ranging from those who rule the dream realms to minor spirits that have little influence over the ether. Some spirits, like wisps, here is an example of a wisp. These kind of, they're wispy. I don't know. They look like they're not fully formed. Are often too simple and impressionable to be good or evil. They're just kind of wandering around. You fight a lot of them in Inquisition. Mages may use wisps to help guide them through the Fade. And then a lot of spirits are really confused by the waking world. So in a way that like you would be really confused if you entered the Fade, the spirits are really confused if they enter the waking world. And then the veil is the curtain that separates the two, basically. So it's really important that that they stay separated, because obviously who wants to live in this if you're not from here? Wisps like Wispa, oh my gosh. And then, yeah, the veil is particularly thin at night, and like there'll be areas where the veil may tear or like be really thin, and then demons like flood the waking world. Yes, Chalky, you're right. The big truth bomb about the veil and Inquisition was so impactful. So yeah, we talked about it when we talked about the elven gods, one of them being Fen'Harel, the trickster god, kind of like Loki style god, where it's believed he maybe put up the veil to imprison the other elven gods in there. And then, yeah, the plot of Veilguard, at least of what we know, because it's not out yet, is that they're trying to rip down the veil again. And then, as we mentioned before, we were talking about the Maker, and we were talking about these Magisters entering the Fade physically. They were trying to reach the Black City here. So standing at the center of the Fade, viewable from all points, is the Black City. This ominous shadow of once golden towers is ever present but forever out of reach. So the Golden City was the home of the Maker, what they believed was the home of the Maker. And then these Tevinter Magisters entered the Fade physically, using a lot of blood magic. And they breached the gate of the Golden City, and the Maker the Maker got mad. The Golden City became corrupted by sin because humans entered it with all of their sin before being cleansed. So they've corrupted it and made it black, and this is why people think blights happen. Unfortunately, so it's one of those things, yeah, like this is what the Chantry teaches anyway, that it used to be golden, the Maker lived there, but he abandoned it because these evil Tevinter people went there and corrupted it. Yeah, that's the basic idea. No one, like, people still try to reach the Black City now, like when they travel through the Fade, but it's one of those things where it's like, you know, the hallway constantly keeps getting longer in a dream, like you can't reach it. I'm trying to see, where does this picture have a caption? No, this is just another cool Fade image. This almost looks like something out of a sci-fi movie as well, like something like a bit of space. I like the lightning striking down here too, and there's just a person. You see this little dot of a person standing there. Yeah, as Alicia says, and that, children, is how the blight began. Hubris makes everyone suffer now. Yeah. Okay, yeah, in the timeline. Oh, I missed something on the previous timeline. Alistair, future hero of the 5th Blight, is born in Ferelden, a 910 dragon. And, Kalsharok is rediscovered, so that's the second Dwarven city. Underneath Ferelden, the intelligent darkspawn known as the Architects attempts to unearth and kill the remaining old gods that taint the entire surface world. His efforts are thwarted by King Merrick and a band of wardens. So that's the plot of the second game, 914 Dragon, that happens. And then in 920 Dragon is when Empress Selene ascends to the throne. That was the 4th book here, the Masked Empire. So the Calling and the Masked Empire only happened like 6 years apart then. And Asunder, I'm assuming the 3rd one is somewhere in between there. I thought we were still... we're still going, says Zero. Yeah, we decided to push through one more chapter. Yes, and as Chucky states, the big bad of Inquisition is actually one of these old Tevinter Magisters. I don't know if there's a picture of him in this book, or maybe in the next, in Volume 2. I'll have to see in a bit. But we're like just about to finish up. I think this is the last page. Alright, so we're going to close off with the cultural interpretations of the Fade. So the Chantry believes, according to the Chantry, the Fade is a land of primeval matter from which the Maker formed the world and all living beings. When the living die, their souls enter the Fade, and if they are faithful, pass through to join the Maker at his side. The wicked and unfaithful, however, are stuck in the Fade, doomed to wander endlessly. The Elves believe. Old Elven belief calls it the Beyond, a holy place once home to their gods. What little of Elven lore has survived speaks of Fen'Harel, a trickster god who schemed to take the Beyond for himself, imprisoning his brethren in the eternal city at its heart. The Elves believe their gods remain trapped in the prison to this day, as Fen'Harel, the Dreadwolf, gleefully patrols the Beyond to feast upon the souls of the dead. The dwarves say, a dwarf entering the Fade is a rare thing. The underground dwellers do not dream, and ages of lyrium exposure have made them largely immune to its power. Because no dwarven souls are found in the Fade, the Chantry claims that dwarves were not created by the Maker. And the Kunari. The Kunari believe the Fade is a land of the dead. Entering it in any fashion is strictly forbidden by the Kun, and the idea that a sleeping Kunari might ever enter such a realm is reprehensible. Kunari insist that they do not dream as others do. Since they are rarely encountered in the Fade, it can be hard to refute this claim. Yeah. I'm just checking out the timeline, see if there's anything last interesting thing. Oh, 921 Dragon. So right after Selene is made the new Empress of Orlais and makes peace with Ferelden, in Kirkwall on the other side of the Waking Sea, Knight Commander Meredith takes over Kirkwall and makes a new Viscount. So that's setting up Dragon Age 2 business. Grand Cathedral is set upon by the dragons during a 10-year gathering of Chantry Faithful. A young seeker named Cassandra Pentagast foils what is revealed to be a conspiracy to kill Divine Beatrix III. She is named a Hand of the Divine. That's 922 Dragon. That is the plot of the Dragon Age movie, the crappy animated Dragon Age movie. And there we go. That means next time we will have Chapter 7, The Blight. The appendix, which is the bestiary. Let's just show you that. So we're going to go over the different animals and stuff, and demons, everything. And then, I mean, there's the appendix, but we're not going to read that. We're not going to sit here and read that. That just kind of goes over all the words we've already learned. Yeah. Glossary. So next time we'll have the blight and the bestiary. Yeah. Yeah, Kevin, we're just wrapping up now. We had a pic of him in early chapters. Oh, I showed him Tuesday. Let me see. Okay, while we're just chilling, let me see if I can find Corypheus. Do you remember what chapter it was, Chalky? If not, that's okay. We'll just kind of have a quick flip through. I kind of remember the picture now that you say it, but I'm just not sure where it was. While people are chatting. I'd probably turn into a sloth demon and get stuck in the Fade for... Yeah, I think, Zero, you would not pass your harrowing if you were a mage. Probably not. We all know I'd be taken over by a lust demon. We all know. Glossary! That's Chocobo Breeder to you, Georgia. I don't know why I said your full name. Because I was just, in my mind, I was thinking, Ridicrash is new. I've got to use people's, like, full username so they know. But, like, obviously Ridicrash knows. They're in Buddy Game streams. It was just me being silly. Corypheus, Corypheus, where are you? Corypheus, Corypheus, we want to find you. Here, everyone, speed run. Speed run of the whole book. So, I was hoping to just keep this to 1 week. So I'm thinking of continuing the stream tomorrow rather than waiting until Tuesday. Hopefully people are around. I don't think many of the people in our community stream on Saturdays, so should be a good time. Did we? I'm not seeing a picture of him. No, there's no picture of him, Chalky. There was a picture of an abomination today. Let me find the abomination today. That's kind of what Corypheus looks like. Wait, no one streams on Saturday? Are you being sarcastic? Well, I didn't mean no one. If someone does stream, obviously I don't mean to be like rude. I just mean that like not very many. Like whereas like Sunday is like a very busy day. So Corypheus kind of looks like this. This is an abomination, like a more like normal possession, but Corypheus kind of looks like this. Yeah, except if it's a rare... Okay, you were being serious. I love... Mo, I don't know if you saw this earlier, the Pride Demon. That's another demon I think you'll like the look of. Oh, my back hurts very, very much. My back hurts very, very much. Yeah, I think... Maybe... Yeah, I think we just mentioned him. Yeah, you know what it was, Shocky? He was in the timeline. It was in the timeline down here. There was a mention of Corypheus at one point. Back when he was like first entered the Fade, there was a mention of him. So there should be quite early on. I do remember that. Yeah, I didn't remember a picture. Let me see if I can find it. Da, 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 da. Oh, this is Dreamers, so that's when Tevinters and humans started getting magic again. Da, 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 da. Oh, I'm so sad it's split here. I've got to get some glue. I'm looking for a Tevinter symbol. Da, 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 da. How are we all feeling, peeps? How are we feeling? Was that information overload? Did you enjoy? Here, in secret. This was at minus 395 ancient. In secret, a group of the most powerful Tevinter magicians opened a gate into the Golden City, entering it physically. They were cast violently back into the physical world, twisted and corrupted the first Darkspawn. So minus 395. So that was 395 years before the Chantry was formed. Yes. And I think that's when we mentioned Corypheus. Yeah, so next time... Oh no, this one's splitting. Oh, I've got to get some book glue. These pages are splitting. I really liked... I think one of my favorite things to have learned about was the old gods. That, to me, was this. When we learned, like... the name... Like, this is what an old god looks like, and we learned, like, the names of them and what they, like, represented. And having that realization of, like... Okay, we've had 5 blights, so that means there's 2 more old gods that haven't awakened. Will blights happen after that? We don't know. Like, that's really interesting to me. Okay, I will flip up to big cam. Ta-da! Just flip the cam around. Oh my god, I'm upside down, everybody. I'm in the fade. I'm in the fade. Vertical flip. There we go. Turn the ring light on. Oh, you'll see me as a mess. Ugh. 1080p Georgia, everybody. Yeah, buddy. Oh my god, I've been sitting so weird though because my back hurts. Okay. Let's turn the camera away. We want the rack assistants to show up. We don't want my snacks. We don't want my snacks to show up. Go away, snacks. Oh, it's tilted though. I was like, why does my picture look tilted? It's because the camera's tilted. Oh, hello, Ibex. Woo! No mod on mod violence. What's happening? Can confirm Sam Teapot is not streaming, so you're good. Wow. Wow, thanks. Does that mean I'd have 0 viewers? Because you'd all be at Sam Teapot's. I mean, do we even know these old gods still are alive? Because the architect killed some of them, didn't he? I don't know, Chalky. I know he wanted to, but I don't know if he killed them or if he just tried to. Snack time, everybody. Caprice. Life-size J out! Yes. Gravity turned off. I knew it would happen one day. No, illusion, I think, like, Chucky means that, like, the body of the old god has been killed so that an archdemon can't form. Oh, there's a posture check as well. Thank you, Lee. Look at you being nice. Yeah, so this is the one I'm reading right now, The Calling. One chapter was kind of showing Merrick and the Grey Wardens teaming up. And then the second chapter was the Grey Warden that's been trapped down with the Darkspawn and what happened to him. So, it'll be really, really interesting to see where that goes. I didn't know there'd be like a perspective change. Posture check, everybody. Let's do a stretch. Oh, you can see my tattoo that usually we can't see on stream because my arms are down. Oh. Question for you, G. If you are a night owl, do you sleep later or do you still get up early? Right now I've been struggling with my sleep, so I go to bed at like 4 in the morning. And I've been trying to wake up before noon, but been struggling. Because I live alone, so if I had like my mom or something living with me, I could ask her like, could you please make sure like I'm up by like 11 or something to kind of fix the rhythm. But because I live alone, I just sleep through my alarms. I just turn them off and I put them later. So that's been fun trying to figure out. Today I tested last night I tested plugging in my phone at the other end of the room, so I had to get up and out of my bed and walk around and turn off the alarm. And then I opened up my shutter and had sunlight coming in, so that way I was like, even though I chilled in bed for a few hours after, I was still like awake. Also, how the soul of the last old god being trapped in a child possibly messed up the whole blight system. True. Multiple alarms does not work here. I turn them all off. I usually set 3, like 5 to 10 minutes apart. And it does not work. That system works for me for a while, then I learned to ignore the alarm. Oh no, Womble! I'm good at waking up and hearing it. It's not that I sleep through it. It's just that I turn it off and fall back asleep immediately. So, getting up hopefully will work for me. Shout out again to my Hades shirt. Here, let's hold the camera down a bit so you can see. Ta-da! Mommy Nyx. Beautiful. We love her. Rexistence, thank you for your work today. Thank you, guys. Mommy Nyx, indeed. Yeah. Oh my god, camera has tilted like crazy. I promise my picture is in the background is set up straight. It's this camera. Good enough. Shout out, yeah, Skyrim picture in the background. Da, 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 da. Actually, I think I've changed like my raid sound to be a Skyrim level up now. Not raid. Hype train. Because the hype train I just had like a generic Twitch default. So now I have it as like the Skyrim level up where it's like hoo, hua, ha, or something like that. Dutch angle there. Kira Redeem save the game. Yeah, I'll get right on that. Life is a simulation after all. Recently, I've been playing a podcast as soon as I wake up, then I focus with that. It helps keep me awake. That's really smart, Womble. That's really smart. Thank you, G. This was super enjoyable. I'm glad you enjoyed. I've been enjoying it too. So tomorrow, yeah, I better get my butt in gear because I have lesson planning I need to do as well this weekend. But I will most likely do tomorrow afternoon. Like, I don't want to do a night, Sunday night, Saturday night. I would prefer like kind of afternoonish. So I will make sure to post that in the various discords. In the Racully Cord, especially, because most of my audience is from Racully. Can't wait for more Dragon Age lore. I'm like a robot. I wake up and I just stand up immediately. Like, I don't have a problem with that. If I have somewhere to go, I'm up. It's just that I don't have anywhere to go in the morning. I work in the afternoons. Technically, we are all playing a game with the permadeath mod installed. Oh no, Purely. Oh no. Okay. Yes. Oh, just a little bit left. The Blight 2 is such an interesting topic, so it's good that we're leaving that till later. On that note, cuties, I bid you good night. Bye-bye.